Alert, of course, through midnight tonight. All weather threats are on the table, including damaging winds, large hail, tornadoes as well. So we've been saying this time and time again, but it's so important. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings tonight. If you download the WHAS 11 app, you can stream our coverage, especially if you end up without power at some point tonight. Satellite and radar across Kentucky. Anna, all is quiet, but you can see what is off to our west. So on the northern edge, this is heading closer to the Indianapolis area, but on that southern edge, that is that cell that we were talking about, pretty much right over Paducah. When you see that purple, that's what you know it's serious business there. Lots of lightning, very large hail, and a confirmed tornado with that particular cell. So we'll be watching that as that continues to march eastward here over the next couple of hours. Most of us, or at least about half of us, included in this tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight along and west of the I-65 corridor. In addition to that, we do have a flood watch in place where we could see some flooding issues as we head into tonight and early tomorrow as well. And once again, we are looking at a severe weather outlook, level 4 out of 5, as we head throughout the rest of the evening and into tonight. And John Gordon is here. He's going to talk us through our specific threats as we carry onward into this evening.
Let's talk about that, John. You know the folks down there in the Paducah National Weather Service office. What kind of reports are you getting already as it heads this way?
Lots of reports in Ballard County of baseball-sized hail. You just saw the picture leading off the newscast. Let's really focus on the Storm Prediction Center and what we're looking at for tonight. We have a big wind threat. The first thing I want to talk about is a 45% wind threat. Everyone in the area tonight, there's going to be damaging strong winds when this cluster of storms gel from the supercells that Mallory was just talking about and move east. Let's look at the tornado threat. Somewhere in this area, which we've already had a tornado, crossing the border, Cairo, near Sykeston and near Paducah, is going to get at least an EF2 tornado higher. That's 113 miles an hour. And lastly, look at the hail. The big hail threat is off to the west. I think eventually the wind and the heavy rain will be our biggest problem. Louisville, 7:45 to about 8:20 tonight. If you have plans tonight, you need to think very carefully of where you are and what you're doing. This is the real deal.
Let's talk about those plans, Mallory. I've been talking back and forth with JCPS. There are 3 proms scheduled for tonight. They are all still on. It's Iroquois and Southern Seniors and the Bullitt Junior High School junior prom. One's going to be at the Ali Center in downtown Louisville, where we know the winds will be really strong.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about that?
As we were talking about 8 to probably 10 o'clock or so in the Louisville metro area, that's likely when we're going to see the worst of it. A lot of wind, a lot of rain, still a tornado potential for anywhere across Kentucky, Anna. So it's just one of those nights where if you're going to be out, please just stay very, very informed.
Okay, there you go. Again, the proms for JCPS still scheduled tonight. Now, WHAS 11's Reed Yaden and storm chaser John Humphreys driving to our west. They've been following I-64 toward the storm zone. Reed, you're out of the vehicle right now. What's the latest? Where's your location?
Okay, we are at near Bandon, Indiana, which is not far from St. Croix. We've been here for 45 minutes or so. This is just kind of our staging position. We're watching everything develop out to the west, keeping our eye on the sky, talking to John Gordon a lot, looking at radar, make decisions on where we're going to go based on where we think the most intense activity is going to be this evening. Good words from John, good words from Mallory on being prepared and staying very alert during the evening hours. During the past hour, we did do certain things to our vehicle here to secure it a little bit in the event we get into hail, which is a very distinct possibility. That picture of the large hail out there in Paducah within the past hour or so, very impressive. So we're on duty till the end of it all, either online or on our WHAS 11 channel here. For now, Reed Yaden along Highway 37 from Storm Chase 11. Back to you, Doug.
Reed, thank you very much. Reed, about an hour west of downtown Louisville. Now's the time to download the free WHAS 11 app. You can stay up to date with us, the latest track on the storms, watch WHAS 11 broadcast live, and receive notifications of any warnings or watches in your area, and also follow our Max HD radar. Severe weather coverage continues right after this 6 o'clock newscast. You can watch it on the free WHAS 11 Plus app. Again, this is going to be on the app. Mallory and John will be right there tracking the storms as they move through the area starting at 6:30. Again, download the free WHAS 11 app on your TV and then watch it. Before we leave you, updating the approaching storm, see it on our live radar, getting closer, Mallory.
Yeah, we basically have two segments that we're watching. One's kind of a northern track, one's a southern track. The southern one really concerning for that tornado threat as we've been watching.
Yeah, folks in Grayson County, you need to really be prepared. There's a beast of a cell that's produced multiple tornadoes, 4-inch hail. That one is the one to watch. If you're in the way southwest on the BG or Western Kentucky Parkway, this is serious.
You've even talked to the folks at St. X. They were holding a graduation tonight.
Yes.
What did they end up doing?
So originally, obviously, it was supposed to be outdoors on the football field. Told them earlier in the week, move that indoors, and they actually moved up the start time 2 hours earlier to try to avoid the worst of this, because we're going to be tracking this, especially in the Louisville metro area. What would you say, 8 o'clock or so?
8 to 8:30. Be prepared.
So both of our meteorologists are going to be on the free WHAS 11 Plus app at 6:30, right coming up, folks. So download the free app and you'll be able to watch their ongoing coverage as they track it in. Then we'll break into Channel 11 if needed. Thanks for joining us. Stay right here with us through the evening as storm coverage is ahead.
At 7:34, we were on our live stream if you were streaming us on the 11 Plus app, also on Facebook and YouTube. But this was just issued 2 minutes ago due to this cell that was located near Seymour. It's moving east at 50 miles per hour, and this tornado warning is in place until 8:15 Eastern time. So this is right, I'll give you kind of our bearings here about where we're at. This is on the far northeastern edge of our particular viewing area. So this is the big picture view of our Max HD radar right now. And what we're paying attention to is, once again, this storm that's up near Seymour, Indiana. They just put a warning on it. So this previously had a severe thunderstorm warning on it, and they went ahead and went tornado warned on it. And now this is in place until 8:15 tonight. So this is what we're watching for Seymour up to North Vernon. Once again, this is Jackson and Jennings County in southern Indiana until 8:15. So if you are included, if you're hearing the sirens, if you're getting that alert on your phone, this is what this is for. This is this tornado warning, once again, for portions of Jackson and Jennings County.
Yeah, okay, so real quick, 3 miles southwest of Bloomington, they had a confirmed tornado from an observer. So let's look at our storm down there in Jackson County. So you have a supercell with a little bit of a hook echo. You can see that on the screen on the southwest side. They've issued it for that. There's a circulation center. This will be just on the south side of Seymour. It's heading south of Hayden. It will get up towards North Vernon and Jennings County. It's really hauling off to the northeast at 50, I think.
Yes,
Mallory said.
50 miles per hour.
Also, there's some big hail on there. So if you're on the east side of Seymour, I think there's a really strong threat of hail. The storm is trying to get down to the surface. You definitely see rotation up a little bit high in the atmosphere. It's trying to come down. I see why the Indianapolis office did that. That will only be in our Jackson and Jennings County, probably for about 10, 12, 14 minutes, they'll be out of here.
Yeah, it's moving very quickly. East, northeast, around 50 miles per hour. So that's always a good thing when these storms move quickly. Doesn't give you as much time to prepare, but it gets in and out very quickly as well. So I kind of put a track on it here. 747 Lovett, Vernon Elementary School. These are just things that are within the path here. 751 Grayford, 752. So if you are included in this polygon, in this track here for this tornado warning, just go ahead and get in your safe place. As these storms, they're trying to rotate. They're certainly in an environment that's favorable for some rotation. And we're seeing a lot of cellular type storms here. So we've seen supercells. And for that reason, we have, of course, that hail threat and also that wind threat with the tornado warning that we are tracking at this time. So if you're in Jennings and Jackson County in southern Indiana, that's the reason we're cutting into coverage right now, is due to our first tornado warning of the evening in the Kentuckiana viewing area.
So let's look at Seymour right now. You want to keep on your screen? Okay, you can keep on your screen. So we got a hook echo that Mallory's pointing to right there on the southwest side. So right where she's pointing, right there is the area. There would be a tornado. And there's definitely hail on the northeast side. That's going to pass south and east of Seymour, which is good. Major population center. That's I-65 right now.
Right
if you're
there
on Interstate 65, Watch out for hydroplaning. Watch out for very heavy rain and hail and a possible tornado. Do not be driving on I-65 just south of Seymour. Pull over about 5 miles north and just wait until that passes. It won't be long at all, and you'll make yourself a much happier driver. That's heading up towards North Vernon. Now, North Vernon and Vernon, I guess the two Vernon twins, that is the main threat right now in that area. That is going to be the main threat for the next several minutes as the storm moves off to the east at 50 miles an hour. Let's look at our hail parameter. Bunch of hail in there on the northeast side, probably about 4 miles east of Seymour. The wind, as you go up in height, is really increasing. It's just trying to get down to the surface. I see why the Weather Service did what they did. It's definitely rotating, and it's a good call to issue the tornado warning. I'm not sure it's down at the ground yet. It's trying. Wouldn't be surprised you see something that looks like a spaceship on the interstate if you're driving there. And you can send, if you feel safe, send your photos to Mallory at the address she gives you.
Yeah, so we do have my microphone on. There we go. Sorry, I had to change out some batteries, guys. We do have a number that you can text if you have any specific questions. Once we're back in streaming mode, of course, we're continuing to stream, but when we're not wall to wall on the air right now. But this is a photo, or this is a number that you can send your photos, your weather questions, your weather videos, 502-582-7290. And we will get to those as we continue our streaming whenever this tornado warning has been allowed to expire.
In the last 20 minutes, you're starting to see more development. I know we have a tornado warning. We're monitoring that up in Mount Vernon right now. We're still monitoring it. But we're also getting, we got a new cell in Goshen. If you're in Goshen, that thing is all, you can almost, and it goes from nothing to rotating. It shows signs of hail and even a little bit of rotation. And it just formed in the last 5 minutes. Another one is formed just north of Worthington Hills and Orchard Grass Hills. Another, there's that cluster coming into the south side of the Louisville Metro right now. If you're on the Gene Snyder, if you are Fairdale and Okolona, you're going to be getting some very heavy rain. Bullitt County, yes, we haven't forgot about you. Crossing I-65 down by Belmont. And then we have a very nasty, very bad tornado storm that's on the northeast side of Christian County and Todd County. It's probably on the ground right now. That is heading towards Logan County and eventually in the south part of Bowling Green. If you know someone in Bowling Green right now, send them some love and give them a call. Right now we have a tornado warning for Jackson and Jennings County.
Yes. And
that storm continues to show large hail. It's spinning. I'm not sure it's on the ground yet, but I definitely would be seeking shelter. It's crossing I-65 as we speak.
Yeah, that little notch there that you're seeing, that hook. So that's right over I-65, and this is marching east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So this will be a quick moving storm here. But as it stands, this warning is in place until 8:15. And once again, that is crossing over, it looks like the county line as we speak, and over I-65. So that's the reason that we are cutting into the TV side of things. Anytime we do have a tornado warning within our Kentuckiana viewing area, it is our protocol to cut in and stay with you until that tornado warning has been allowed to expire or is canceled prematurely.
But it won't be long. So this area here will be back to streaming before you know it, unless something else changes. This will be out of Jennings and County area in the next 10 minutes. It'll be out. It's almost, it's already passed. It's crossing the interstate right now. Folks, if you have anyone you know in Vernon or North Vernon, you're going to have large hail and a possible tornado. It's coming really, really soon. The time, if you have if you're having a party in Vernon, North Vernon, I would get inside and I get shelter right now.
Yeah, so I will say for those who need the all clear, Seymour, this is off to your east and southeast. I know you're still included in the polygon, but
you're fine.
That is out of your neck of the woods at this time. So we're looking at Lovett and North Vernon at this point for this particular cell.
It hasn't completely wrapped. You definitely see why they issued it. You see the hook. It's trying, but it is not as close as some of the ones I just showed you. If you go back to the southwest, that is a beast of a tornado down there by Todd County. that's eventually going to get close to Russellville and eventually Bowling Green.
Yeah, so this is a cell that John's talking about. We've been tracking this since it was in Missouri.
Yeah, it's produced multiple tornadoes and a lot of big hail.
It just continues a cycle here. It has a lot of hail, 3 to 4 inches in diameter at times, and confirmed tornadoes on the ground. So that's a cell that we're really watching for our south central Kentucky neighbors down there.
Right. Up there to the north, Seymour, you're all clear. It's over.
Yes.
You can smile for the moment. It may not be over later on, but right now you're completely fine. Vernon, Mount Vernon, North Vernon, it's coming. Large hail, very strong winds. Radar showing about quarter to walnut size hail, and it definitely showing circulation that's more aloft, more off the surface. So there it is. So if you go up to 1.3, so that's at about 4,000 feet, you see the circulation. But if you go down to the surface, you don't see it as much. So it is spinning. I wouldn't want to be in an airplane in that area. But I definitely see why it's trying to come. Look at that right there. As you go, there's 2.5. There it is right there. It's even weakened since I just scanned. That's a new scan. So I know you need to seek shelter, but you may luck out. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah. So let's give everybody the big picture view. Once again, we are hopping on due to that tornado warning that was for portions of Jackson and Jennings County. That is moving out of Jackson County, moving throughout Jennings County very quickly. So that's on the far northeastern side of our viewing area. That is now east of Seymour. Seymour, you were out of that warning at this point, and that's moving into North Vernon, Lovett, and eventually out of our area, and more so closer to the Cincinnati metro eventually, as that continues east and northeast. But you can tell that the radar, it's beginning to fill in elsewhere. So we have this big cluster. This is not severe warned, but as we were talking about, not fun to drive through either, down to the south where you're seeing all those oranges and reds on the radar. Heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, some small hail, lightning as well, low visibility as we were talking about. That's moving throughout southern Jefferson County now.
Hydroplaning.
Yeah, Gene Snyder right over the I-65 now and moving into Taylorsville as well. So
very bad on the Gene Snyder. You do not want to have a wreck on the Snyder.
No.
Please slow down. Hydroplaning is such an underrated thing. Please slow down.
Yeah, so please take every storm seriously that we track for you this evening. Even if it doesn't have a warning on it, it can be impactful, as we've seen time and time again. But we are all included in a tornado watch now throughout tonight, and of course it depends on the timing depends on where exactly the counties are, because this will be slowly chipped away later on this evening. But for our Kentuckiana viewing area, we basically want everybody to stay weather alert through about midnight tonight. So that should be around the timing that all this will be pushing down to our east and southeast as a cold front swings through here. But in the meantime, we are likely going to continue to see warnings, whether they be severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, and also flash flood warnings potentially as the night continues onward.
Yeah, we'll be out of Jennings County. You've got about 7 minutes, 6-7 minutes. Definitely see the circulation. The circulation, I really don't have a town south of Hayden, southwest of Vernon, North Vernon. It would be down southwest of Lovett. If I was to pick a town, there it is right there. It would be on the southwest side of Lovett. That cell right there is rotating. You probably see what's called a wall cloud in a rotating little area there southwest of Lovett. It's all moving off to the northeast at about 50 miles an hour.
And as we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. So those cells that were south and on the south side of Louisville, there's now a severe thunderstorm warning for that. So they went ahead and issued that. There's a special weather statement out on it for potentially half-inch hail and also 50-mile-per-hour winds. But now we have a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15 for portions of Bullitt, Jefferson, Shelby, and Spencer counties in the Louisville metro area here.
And that's a good move, because as I was looking up to the north, I kept seeing they went from 1 cell to 2 cells to 8 cells to 14 cells, and they have a lot of heavy rain, and there's wind in there. That thing's just full of wind. So if you're driving out and about, even if you're trying to mow at the last second, stop. Get into a safe place. Very heavy wind and some hail and heavy rain in there.
And they issued that for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So
Standard
severe thunderstorm warning with that as that continues. You can see the shape of the polygon lets you know what direction it's moving in. So that's toward the east-northeast there. as we...
Lest I forget very quickly, they issued a new tornado warning. Good deal. It was confirmed there in Christian. It was confirmed in Todd. And now they've issued a new tornado warning. That includes the county seat of Russellville on the north side, Lewisburg. I know that's not our area, but I'm telling you, this is the one that will be on national news tomorrow that produced a tornado in Cairo, Sykeston, near West Plains and near Paducah, and now Bowling Green. Bowling Green, Bowling Green, Bowling Green. Be prepared. It's coming to the south side of Bowling Green.
Yeah, if you have friends and family down there, make sure that they are paying attention to the forecast down there.
Okay, so what the Indy office did, they've taken the storm east of the tornado warned storm and went severe, which is a good sign. I would have done the same thing. Let me just look here really quick. There we go. Yeah, they went severe east of that. I think you're going to be fine. I think this is a very strong wind producer. I know they put a tornado warning out there. I think there's a wall cloud. I think there's rotation, and it's off the deck. I don't think this is going to get all the way down to the ground. And I just don't know my roads in Vernon. I'm sorry. But it's on the south side of Vernon. Love it.
Love it, yeah.
Don't you love that name?
Love it.
Yeah, love it seems like that would be the target for wind. And if there was a tornado, but if you go higher, you definitely see more rotation.
Yes.
So we probably got 5 more minutes of live coverage. It'll be out of Jennings County before you know it.
I do want to take our live camera. Apparently we have a good, this is our
There it is.
Live camera. You can see over downtown Louisville right there.
And you can see that.
Yeah, so live look outside there. You can see the growth that's really exploded lately.
Yeah, look how quick that's went.
Gosh.
Yeah, that just shows you we have strong instability, we have strong wind shear, we have strong moisture, and we have a mechanism. We have an upper level jet stream and a cold front. All of these means it's a bad cake.
Yeah. All of the ingredients that you need for severe weather. And that's why we've been talking about this, of course, all week, why we issued a weather impact alert day. What we've been seeing so far this evening is a bit messier.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a cell here, a cluster here, a cell here.
Right.
Eventually, a line will move all of this out of here by tonight.
Let's look at
But we are expecting more warnings as the night continues onward. And the reason, if you're just now joining us on the TV side, that we're cutting in because we did have a tornado warning that was issued for portions of Jackson and Jennings County in southern Indiana. It is now out of Jackson County, moving through Jennings County. But the good news is, even though it'll be out of our viewing area by that point, they have decided to just extend it eastward as a severe thunderstorm warning. So that means that they're not really seeing it wrapping up like it would be if they needed to continue the tornado warning with that.
For the severe thunderstorm warning in Louisville, we're seeing about 50 miles per hour, 50, 55 miles per hour right over Fairdale. So if you're along Fairdale, Holly Villa, over to South Park View, southern part of heading towards the 65 corridor, I think that's a good warning from the Weather Service. Also, the storms that are down to the southwest are starting to percolate more. You're starting to see more development. If you look, there's all these little nooks and crannies. New cell in Shelby County, new cell just east of Trimble County, heading to Carroll County. A bunch of cells that are popping up left and right here. So we are just beginning, unfortunately, for this event. For the tornado warning up in Jennings County, that continues to move to the northeast. It's almost out of the county. Probably 4 more minutes and it will be gone. And it continues to show rotation. Most of it is off the deck. And as you go up higher, it would not want to fly an airplane through that. So we'll probably be on the air live here for about less than 5 minutes, I would think.
Yeah. We'd be able to wrap up at the 8 o'clock hour. And then, of course, we will continue to cut in as necessary throughout this evening for any tornado warnings that we do have throughout the Kentuckiana viewing area.
Tornado warning, the one that's most concerning. If you know anyone in the Bowling Green, Logan County, Russellville area, I'm telling you, this thing is heading towards Bowling Green. I'm giving you 30, 40, 50 minutes. It's coming. Beware if you're in the Bowling Green, WKU, Memphis Junction, it's coming. Bowling Green, home of WKU, the proud alma mater here.
Go Tops, but I hate to see that heading in that direction. Yeah, so that's been a cell that we've been watching for the last couple of hours now. I mean, it's just continuing to cycle, and it's not showing any signs of weakening. So we'll continue to watch that as well. And then off to the west, these cells that were around Carbondale that are pushing eastward. Anytime you see a lot of purple and a lot of lightning, you know that these storms mean business. Yes. In addition to, obviously, there being tornado warnings on them. And it looks like another confirmed tornado heading toward Paducah.
Yeah, that's the one, that's that second one I was telling you about. Also the one that's east of Carbondale, they confirmed that again. I'm going to the Paducah radar here really quick. Take a gander at that one. There's usually about a 10-second delay when you switch radars, in case you're wondering what's he looking at there. There we go. So there's the confirmed that's heading towards those poor people in Paducah and McCracken County. Have you not had enough today? Also, that storm off, there it is, Gallatin County, really strong hook echo. That one will get towards the Louisville Metro. That's going to be a problem too. So we've got two problems for the Metro. You think, well, what's the big deal? Well, it's coming. Let's go back to our storm again in Vernon. It's almost out of the county. We are so close. I think that will be pushing up the east. They issued a severe already, Mallory, for that. They've already played offense on that.
Yeah, so that's been trucking right along, which is good news, moving east, northeast, 50 miles per hour. And as we mentioned, they decided not to extend the tornado warning on it. So once it is out of Jennings County, we'll be able to hop off here. We are going to continue streaming. So if you want to watch more of our severe weather coverage, even if we're not wall-to-wall on air, we will be streaming on the WHAS 11 Plus app. We'll be streaming on Facebook, on YouTube as well. So you can download that app on your phone, on your TV. You can watch it for free. And we'll continue to walk through the storms as we carry on throughout tonight. And when we have more tornado warnings, we'll hop back on the TV side of things because, once again, that's our protocol. If we have a tornado warning, we hop on continuous coverage until that has been cleared from the area. But I do want to remind everybody that we do have that severe thunderstorm warning for south of Louisville. This is Fern Creek, Valley Station, Shepherdsville, Mount Washington, Taylorsville, heading towards Shelbyville as well. Looks like a lot of heavy rain with that. Some wind, some hail. So that's a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. That is moving east at 60 miles per hour, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, quarter-sized hail with that as that continues east.
Yeah, so right now the most immediate thing is the tornado warning, and it's in the far eastern part of Jennings County. I really don't see a tornado threat. I know that's under a tornado warning. I think it's a hail threat. There is rotational loft, and you've seen what the Indianapolis has done as you go those counties east of Jennings. With the Louisville severe thunderstorm warning, good warning in there. That's got a lot of wind in it. And then once again, I know I keep harping on this. If you've been following Mallory and I for the last several hours, this is the one that has been producing a lot of tornadoes and large hail. And if you're in Lewisburg, down towards Russellville, it's heading to Bowling Green. I'm telling you, it's heading to Bowling Green. I hope it weakens and becomes just a normal thunderstorm, but that's the one that's really concerning.
Yeah, and from the National Weather Service, they did get confirmation that a tornado is on the ground moving into Logan County. It was currently over Todd County within the last 5 to 10 minutes. So unfortunately, we've gotten a lot of confirmations.
And then one we didn't get much on. There was a confirmed tornado just southwest of Bloomington. I'm wondering what happened up there. He said reported debris. So that was about 40 minutes ago. So we've had St. Louis, we've had Sykeston, we've had Cairo. We have a new confirmed tornado there. Folks in Louisville, I know it's taken some time. This is a very complicated forecast because the computer models could never really get a handle of where. Is it just going to be one line? Is it going to be a bunch of storms?
Right.
And we're still even trying to figure it out as we speak.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. Obviously, we knew that we had the right ingredients for severe weather, and we're seeing that obviously this evening, but it's not as cut and dry as some of our previous systems have been, where it's just been a line of storms. Right. And we knew it was going to move this direction to this direction from this time to this time.
That's right.
And we were going to have wind and embedded tornadoes.
That's
obviously, those warnings were difficult, but this has just been a difficult system for the weather models to even try to figure out. So that's why this has been hard to nail down the exact timing of the impacts there. But we're still watching this tornado warning as it tries to move out of Jennings County right now. Showing some signs of rotation there.
It's got definitely rotation, and it's trying to wrap itself around, but it's looked pretty much the same the whole time. I'm guaranteed there's a wall cloud, kind of like a spaceship you see right now. Warning that they just covered a little bit of it up. The lightning, you've noticed, is not very strong with this storm for some unknown reason.
It's not.
So my guess is that's a wall cloud. It's got an ominous look. It probably did produce a bunch of wind. Maybe a little bit of hail, but that will be moving off into, is that Ripley County, I believe, to the east. I'm still learning all my counties.
Oh, that's okay. Me too.
Okay. So the one in Louisville, if you're basically south of the Waterson, you're under severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Shelby County. That includes Spencer County, Bullitt County, over there towards West Plains. That's for heavy rain and wind. And I can't emphasize how heavy the rain is going to be this evening.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, and I understand why many people focus on tornado threats, but we are just as concerned with wind threats and also heavy rainfall threats. They can make an impact. People can underestimate them, which can be very dangerous.
Right.
But some of these severe thunderstorm warnings can be issued for 70, 75 mile per hour winds, 80 mile per hour winds sometimes. And anytime you get, of course, flash flooding at night, that is very, very dangerous. So you hear us saying time and time again, turn around, don't drown, but we really mean it because you can save your life that way.
Absolutely, 100% right. Yeah, it's almost out. It's in the eastern part of Jennings, and it's...
We're watching this little guy right here, yep.
And the little guy moving out there. We have another confirmed, here's a new confirmed tornado. What county is that? That's out of Illinois. That's going into Kentucky now. Let's see, that is Uniontown, Union County, thank you. Union County, a lot of lightning with that one. Also that one that Mallory just told you about, the one that was in Todd County, it's confirmed. They issued a new tornado warning for Logan. That's out of the Weather Service in Louisville now. They've tagged that up. I know how that goes. They go from one office to the next. That's nice to see there's continuity. And that's heading right to Bowling Green.
Yes.
I'm telling you, Bowling Green, WKU, the whole thing, you need to be prepared now. And if you're in Warren County, serious, this is very serious.
Yes.
And you had to deal with this in 21. I'm sorry. I wish it was in a field in Kansas, but this is the way it is. Louisville, just a regular old severe thunderstorm warning, very heavy rain and wind. Jennings County, it's on the line.
Right.
It's literally on the line. It looks the same as it has the whole way.
Yes, it has. So I always try to circle back to this if anybody's kind of flipping through the channels here and you're watching ABC or you're trying to look for your favorite show that comes on at 8 p.m. Meteorologist Mallory Schnell, meteorologist John Gordon, and we're cutting into coverage due to that first tornado warning of our viewing area this evening. That was for Jackson and Jennings County, but it is on its way out. It expires at 8:15. But it looks like it's wrapping up here within the next couple of minutes and we'll be out of our particular viewing area here. And then we're just going to continue streaming. We are streaming on our WHAS 11 app. We're streaming on YouTube and Facebook because obviously there's a lot going on the radar. We continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning for the south side of the Louisville metro area. So we're going to be tracking that. We're going to be tracking the Bowling Green cell as well. And all of this activity that's off to our west. You can see around Paducah, around Evansville. Indianapolis obviously getting their own dose of severe weather up there as well. But this is looking to fill in, eventually march east and then all push southeast with the cold front heading into tonight. So this is something that you want to stay weather alert for the next few hours here.
Absolutely. Just to give you a heads up, all that stuff coming out of Illinois is crossing into Kentucky now. That was the cells that formed south and east of St. Genevieve, Missouri. That went through Carbondale. They've confirmed multiple tornadoes. All those warnings, if you plot that up, that's going to basically be in Hardin, Bullitt, Meade, Breckenridge, Harrison, Jefferson, Shelby, Oldham. It's coming. It's coming. So this storm in Jennings County it's got about 1 minute. Yeah, well, this is like your
We keep
1-minute
watching
warning
it,
in
yes.
hockey.
Yeah.
And it's almost out. But I suspect you've got some spaceships, what I call spaceships. They're called
Right.
mesocyclones, like this
They
rotating.
look like spaceships. That's fair.
Yeah. And,
So that's what we're seeing with that
you'll see
storm.
some cool pictures, but I suspect it probably produced a funnel cloud, maybe. I don't know if it did produce a tornado. And it's almost out of there. And they issued a giant, severe,
Beyond
almost into the metro of Cincinnati. And you see some wild stuff. There's all these new little showers developing. Got a new one in Edmonson County. That thing's already rotating. Look down there by Brownsville. That's in Hart County. That thing will go severe pretty soon. If you're in Hart County, I expect you'll see a warning here in the next 15 minutes. That thing developed out of nowhere. And that's what we got. We got too much instability and too much wind shear.
Yeah, so basically these little guys, they look very small at first. They're
Yes.
popping, and then all of a sudden they're
Yes.
rotating, and they're becoming strong. They're becoming severe
Yeah,
pretty
it's
quickly.
that's the one that looked like just like Louisville. That one in down there in
Hart
by
County.
Hart County. Yeah, Edmonton County, and boom, it just goes severe. Boom.
Yep.
And is it out yet? It's on the line. I think it's on the line. Johnny
on the line.
Cash. That's on the line.
On the line.
Yeah.
Right, so this is going to be moving out of Jennings County. That's the reason we cut into coverage here. We're still watching this severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15 for the areas that we were talking about: Bullitt, Jefferson, Spencer, Shelby. It's already been a long day, guys, and we got a lot to go. Obviously, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and hail as well. So that's going to be a pain to drive through. Shepherdsville, Mount Washington, Taylorsville. We were watching that over the Gene Snyder as well in Louisville. So some heavy rainfall really expected from these storms tonight, because there's a lot of moisture. And I'm sure you felt that if you were outside today or yesterday. Those dew points have been in the 70s. So you've got so much moisture to tap into, so much fuel. And those are just some of the ingredients that, of course, severe weather really takes to form. And that's exactly what we're seeing out there tonight. So we're all included in that tornado watch for the next several hours, many of us until 11 p.m., some of us a little bit longer than that, because it'll be a threat that really gets chipped away from west to east or northwest to southeast as that main line cuts through tonight. But I want everybody to stay weather alert. All right, good news. That storm is out. The reason that we cut into TV coverage, out of Jennings County. So we hopped on for that warning for Jackson and Jennings County. That is now off to the east and out of the county and no longer an issue. So you can get out of your safe place for now, but want everybody to stay weather alert. So we're going to hop off of TV coverage right now. We're going to hop back over to our streaming as we've continued here as we hopped on TV. But as we mentioned, just stay weather alert throughout this evening, and we will cut back into coverage as necessary. But I hope you can join us on our streaming throughout the evening as well.
What did you make of that?
It angered me.
Good Friday evening, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here with meteorologist John Gordon. We are hopping back on your TV screens. That means we do have another tornado warning to get to you about. So this one is now for Adair County, and it's the same cell that we've been watching for quite some time. It moved into Bowling Green, Glasgow, and is now going to hit the southernmost portion of Adair County. And we mentioned that if you were watching our stream, we're streaming on our 11 Plus app here, that we were watching that particular portion of Adair County and that particular portion of our Kentuckiana viewing area for this tornado potential, because this particular cell has been really proving itself as being a strong one that's continued to cycle, continue to give us confirmed tornadoes, large hail. So this particular tornado warning that does include, this is south of Columbia in Adair County. So just that small chunk that you're seeing here that's highlighted. This is until 9:15 Central Time, so we're going to be with it for quite some time. They really extended that outward for a tornado and golf ball sized hail. We are looking at that severe thunderstorm that's currently located near Glasgow, and it's moving east at 45 miles per hour. So really, this is that storm. As I mentioned, we've been tracking this. How far have we been tracking this out, John?
Hours.
This has been hours of this same supercell. And you can tell that these cells are strong when you have that much lightning, you have the purple that shows the hail core, and something that's just continued to try to wrap. So that area of rotation that you're looking at, if you're in Adair County, you still have quite some time, but if you have friends in Edmonton, that's going to hit them first because it's coming out of Glasgow and moving east around 45 miles per hour here. So I can put it on a track. This warning, it's not in your neck of the woods yet. You'll likely hear it before it heads to you. But in Adair County, we have Breeding, 8:55 Central. We have Sparksville at 8:57 Central. And we also have Flatwood at 9 p.m. Central Time. So you still have about a half-hour lead time here. But Edmonton, if you have friends just off to the west, 8:41. So you got about 10 minutes to get in your safe place. Randolph as well. That's a little bit further to the west. But this was a storm that moved through the Bowling Green metro area into Glasgow, still showing some strength with it and some oomph with all the lightning and also the hail that we're dealing with there. And so this warning, it's going to be with us for quite some time, but we're also going to take you around to different parts of the radar because we're seeing other storms that are also problematic. So this warning, 9:15, this is for portions of Adair County. This is south of Columbia, but this is moving east at 45 miles per hour out of Glasgow. And obviously it's for that threat of a tornado and golf ball size hail as well.
Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is John Gordon here with Mallory. And let's go to the Glasgow storm. This thing went right over Bowling Green and produced baseball-sized hail. It just went over Glasgow. The most that I have seen is 1-inch hail, but there could be more. The hail threat is right up to the northeast towards Knob Lick. The storm is moving off to the east southeast. Let's do a cut on the radar. Look at this thing. That's a vault. You see that blue level right in there? That means the storm is ice and the water is being pushed up and above, and you're getting hail that's forming around 35,000 feet, and that's going to drop down. And they went golf balls, did you just say?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And the movement of the storm, this is off the Nashville radar. We're moving off to the east. That's a really good proactive warning from the Weather Service to cover Metcalfe and Adair counties, moving to the east. The rotation, let's take a look at the rotation from a couple different vantage points. The first one is off of the Nashville radar. We'll take a look at the rotational velocity right there. There's your spin just east of Glasgow. There's your hook echo right there. If you were to be a tornado, you would be, that's the Cumberland Parkway. Cumberland Parkway would not be a nice place to visit tonight. If you were driving east from Glasgow, heading towards Edmonton, which is another county seat. This thing has been hitting county seats all day long from east of Springfield, Missouri, through the Ozarks, the gorgeous Missouri Ozarks, to Paducah, and it has been problematic ever since. And the lightning on this is prolific. I would expect a tornado, if you're going to form one, it would be just between Glasgow and Edmonton. That's right, number one. Number two, we have a tornado, a double tornado warning up towards Henderson. Let me go change the radar. Let's look at the Evansville radar. We're about to give you a lot of detail. This is a brand new radar software we've been using here. So that's Owensboro right now. Probably a lot of 1.25 inch hail reports near Enser on the east side of Owensboro. We have Reed Yaden and John Humphreys there watching that thing. This thing's trying to form a tornado west of Whitesville. East of Owensboro, and the Weather Service in Louisville issued a tornado warning for Ohio County. That thing has also been prolific. We've been talking about that one since St. Genevieve on the Missouri Missouri side of the Mississippi. That's moving off to the east, and that's going to be a problem. They're in Hardinsburg right now. They're in the right place, and they're watching that storm. Those are the main shows right now. We've got some rain here and there, some showers here and there. That storm that they had issued for Du Bois they've gone non-severe on that as that goes into Orange and Crawford counties up to the north. But let's go back to our storm and let Mallory give you an update on everything.
Yeah, so the reason we're cutting into coverage, if you're watching us here on the TV side of things, is due to this tornado warning that's going to be moving into Adair County within the next 30 minutes or so. So the rotation has been, as we mentioned, in between Glasgow and Edmonton. where you're seeing that hook. So that's where you would have a tornado if it's there. And then north of that, I mean, you can see the purples, the hail, the heavy rainfall. This one is also warned for golf ball size hail. So this warning goes into place now and takes us through 9:15 Central Time. So this includes Glens Fork. It's south of Columbia, and this will be moving into Edmonton first. So if you have family or friends in Edmonton, make sure they're in their safe place. But Adair County, you have a bit of a heads up before that heads your direction. And then in addition to that, yes, we've been talking about this particular cell that was out of Owensboro that's heading towards Hardinsburg. We don't have any tornado warnings for us just yet. We have this severe thunderstorm warning for Hardinsburg and Breckinridge County until 8:45. But take a look at the reds just off to our west in Ohio County. That is the area of rotation that we're watching. We've been keeping an eye on Reed Yaden, John Humphreys. They've been out watching that storm. And in fact, they can give us a live update. Reed, how are things looking out there? What are you seeing?
Okay, storm's getting closer. Our last check, we're about the core of the storm's about 20 miles from where we are. We just wanted to update everybody here in the Breckinridge County area, so you stay alert here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning, no tornado warning here yet, but as we take a look at this storm, it's producing a lot of lightning. As you know, if you live down here, it's a real lightning show. We're looking at it right now, producing some moderate rain. Winds are kicking up, I would say 10 to 15. We're under 20 miles an hour here, and the rain is light to occasionally moderate rain, but generally light rain, but it's going to be picking up. Business is going to pick up considerably here in the next 15 minutes, I would say, as this thing moves much closer. We've been coordinating on this location since 3 o'clock this afternoon with John. We fine-tuned it. Here we are, and then we've got our next couple of moves already planned too. We're watching this cell, and we'll move as it moves, but we wanted to update everybody here in the Breckinridge County area. We are here. We will keep you updated. Keep your TV. Stay with us online. We have John Gordon back here, our extreme weather specialist, and our chief meteorologist, Mallory Schnell, is in the studio. John and I in the field. We'll have it all for you live here. Reed Yaden reporting from Storm Chase 11 in Breckinridge County.
All right, thank you so much, Reed. So this is that storm that he is watching here. We can pull back up the radar. And as he mentioned, we don't have a tornado warning for our viewing area just yet, but this is that cell that we are watching. And as it continues eastward, we're looking at it to move into Hardinsburg within the next half hour. So you definitely want to stay weather alert with this. You're currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. I know there's a lot of colors here on the map. You're currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. That's what you're seeing in that gold or orange color. The red color, you can see where that tornado warning is. So that's where we're seeing that rotation. That's where we've been tracking it, and looks like it's going to hang together as it pushes east. So we'll wait and see if and when that's extended. But once again, we are hopping onto coverage here on ABC on WHAS 11 on the TV side due to the tornado warning that we do have down in Adair County due to that cell that we've been keeping a close eye on. That was around Bowling Green, Glasgow. It's now pushing east. This warning includes Edmonton as well. That's where it'll hit first, obviously, as it moves from west to east here. A lot of lightning with it, a lot of hail on the north side of that where the severe thunderstorm warning is. Heavy rainfall will be a threat for anybody trying to be out and about, even if you're up in Greensburg. You're included in the severe thunderstorm warning. I want you to, really make a point to not be out in this if you don't have to be. Columbia, you're on the north side of the tornado warning, but you're included in the severe thunderstorm warning. So we're going to feel impacts regardless with heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, as well as we continue onward this evening.
Okay, so let's go down to the storm for Barron, Metcalfe, and then Adair County. First off, very strong indications of large hail, big hail. We're back. It's recycled again. Golf balls, maybe hen egg hail. That's on the north side of Edmonton up towards Knob Lick. Okay, that's first. Second, you see the dreaded hook echo. So let's do a little cut and show you what that sucker looks like. We'll do a little cut there. There's the vault. There's the rotation. And it's trying to come down to the surface, and it's trying to come back and down. And so that's a very concerning thing. That's a good tornado warning. I'm sorry interrupting your favorite show. We're trying to save your life, especially folks in Metcalfe and Adair County as the storm moves off to the east. This is off the Nashville radar. And if you go up in height, what you can do is take a look at how it goes up in height. And watch this sucker. Yeah, it's got a lot of hail aloft, a lot of hail, and a lot of rotation. That storm would be scary to be underneath right now as it moves off the east along the Cumberland Parkway there, Mallory, right along that interstate, and a big hail to the parkway rather.
Right.
The other one is where you just heard from Reed and John Humphreys. That storm is trying to form a hook.
It is.
And that thing has produced tornadoes already in the past and along big hail. There definitely will be warnings as we move east, okay? So if you see yourself, I'm east of Breckinridge County, I'm in Elizabethtown, I'm in Meade County, you're gonna get warnings.
Yeah, so you can tell how the radar is filling in for all of us.
Big time.
Louisville, we don't have any active warnings, and hey, if you make it through tonight without an active warning,
say thank you.
That's a good thing, guys. You don't want these severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings, and you can see how many counties that we provide updates for. So not everybody is going to receive a tornado every single time. Honestly, I think Jefferson County, we've had a lot, you know, knock on wood, right? I've been keeping an eye on some damage reports, and I do want to, since my mic is up, the newsroom might be able to hear this if we want to just relay this. We have trees with power lines in it, Main Street and Taft Street in Pekin, Indiana. Pekin, sorry, Washington County. Trees down also in Beck's Mill in Salem. We have tree down onto a gas line in Pekin.
Yep.
Ben Pine, his mom's home in Borden.
Hey, Ben, I'm
Huge
sorry
oak tree.
about that.
That's unfortunate. Okay, that's all I've got so far. So Washington County, Pekin, trees down in Salem,
What's
tree
the last
down in
one?
Borden.
46 mile
Gusts.
wind gusts. Okay, yeah, that just shows you the outflow ahead of this. So all day long we've been telling you it's going to congel. Look what's happening.
Finally.
The congealing has come ahead. So let's go through each one. Reed and John, you're in the right place. It may be a hair south of you. If there was a tornado, you may be more in the hail threat. As that storm moves off to the northeast, still got the tornado warning. It's right on the Ohio Hancock line right now. And it will be in Breckinridge before you know it. And the Weather Service is going to have to decide how they want to handle it. Let's go down to the one that we've got the live coverage on ABC right here. The storm is very dangerous just to the northwest side of Edmonton. That's the county seat of Metcalfe County. And you want to do a track on that?
Yeah, so let's see. This one was moving, what, about 50 miles per hour?
I go 55.
55? Okay. Due east, or do we feel like slightly?
Just slightly south of east. There you go, right there. That's perfect.
So let's put a tracker on that. Edmonton within the next couple of minutes, obviously. That's right on your doorstep. We have Kofor at 8:50. Breeding 8:53, Chance at 9 p.m. Central, Glens Fork at 9:04, Bryan at 9:07, Esto, I apologize if I'm not getting all of these pronounced correctly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Until 9:13.
And also on the north side, so the folks in Columbia and east of Columbia where the greatest magician in the world, Lance Burton, lives. Anyway, that you're going to get hail, at least ½ inch to as high as 1 1/4. So don't forget, just the tornado warning is looking for the circulation where the greatest rotation is. That's why the Weather Service, you see where that little hook, she'll draw the little hook there for you.
Little hook.
That's not good. So if you were in that little area, northwest, there you go, bingo, look at the blues. That is where the tornado would form. I think there's definitely a wall cloud and maybe a funnel already.
Yeah, so this is heading straight toward Edmonton, and then we'll eventually head into Adair County, and that's where we do have that warning until 9:15 Central. And as John made mention, so what we're seeing with a lot of these is obviously the red, that's your tornado warning on the south side where we're seeing that hook, and then on the north side of that where he mentioned hail. We have that hail threat, and we also, just in general, have a heavy rain threat as
yeah.
well with these storms. There's so much moisture in the atmosphere. You've been feeling it, I'm sure, today, yesterday, with those dew points well into the 70s. So there's a lot of moisture for these storms to tap into. Heavy rainfall will be a threat. You just don't want to be out traveling in this if you don't have to.
Yeah, if I was under one of those right now, I'd think I'm under a flash flood warning right now. If you were there near Columbia, Edmonton, and some of these communities in between Noblik, I'm telling you, if you know a road that floods, that's the road you don't want to be on tonight.
Right. And let me take off. I'm going to put just the warnings on because it looks like we have some severe thunderstorm warnings that are kind of filling the gaps. Yeah, we're seeing that congealing. Is that a word, congealing?
Yeah, we're going to check us out, English teachers.
Yeah, congealing of this line. So this one, it looks like, was just issued for Litchfield until 9:30.
Yeah, what's happening is it's pushing out it's going from the west to the south, east, southeast, and you're getting this wind surge now. Remember we told you earlier the great wind threat, the 45% hatch? Well, here it comes.
60-mile-per-hour wind gusts being issued for that. So this severe thunderstorm warning located over Powderly, moving east at 60 miles per hour, northern Logan, Butler, Grayson, northwestern Warren, Hardin, Ohio, Edmondson. Obviously, that's just for that little part, but Litchfield.
But yeah, Litchfield, the county seat of Butler County, Morgantown, we're in Ohio, and then Hartford. Now you're turning into a wind threat. That is all wind. There could be a little hail, but it's mainly for wind. John and Reed, I don't know if you have any updates, but you should be seeing more and more lightning as you look to your trying to form a hook echo, a rotation right there, just west of there. The lightning continues to be pretty prolific.
Looks like they went severe. It just was extended. Yeah,
that's their first move. I would do the same thing and go severe and then see if they're going to see any rotation. And they may upgrade that.
Right, yeah.
They go 60, and what they go for hail?
Let's see. So that's this big severe.
There's a lot of warnings now. It's hard to keep track of.
I know, 60 and quarter.
Yeah, 60 and quarter. So that's the one where John and Reed are on, and that may get upgraded. So don't let your guard down. And now we've got severes all over the place. Right, so here's the visual without the radar, just to give you shapes. It's like the game of Risk. You have a lot. Those are your severe thunderstorm warnings, the reds, your tornado warnings. So the one active tornado warning that we do have for our viewing area is that one that's going to be moving into southern Adair County, and that is why we had hopped on to coverage here on WHAS 11 on ABC, and we're staying with continuous coverage. I also just want to stay to see how this storm acts that Reed and John have been on as it gets closer to Grayson and Breckenridge counties as well. You can see their shot is down in that that lower right-hand corner, excuse me, where they've been seeing a lot of lightning as they wait for that storm to come. But this storm that's headed toward Adair County, it's warned for tornado, obviously, and golf ball-sized hail. So as we mentioned, as these cells congeal more, they become more clusters. We're really going to see that wind threat, and that's exactly what we're seeing with these additional severe thunderstorms being warned, and some of them for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, which should be taken very seriously. And then Louisville will be under a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, not yet. They're the next move. So when the Weather Service goes through this iteration of those 3 giant warnings that Mallory just went through, you will start to see Jefferson, you'll see Hardin, LaRue, Hart, etc. So I would almost bet the farm you're going to see more severes coming out and very, very, very heavy rain. Right, yeah. So please take that seriously as well. We've been talking, obviously, I know a lot of people focus on tornado threats. That tends to cause the most storm anxiety, which I get it. We talk about hail because no one enjoys that, and then winds, but heavy rainfall, flooding should be taken very seriously as well, especially at this time of night. You can't see flooded roadways. You can't see how deep the water is. So we always say turn around, don't drown. Please, please be safe. Let me give you an update. That storm in Edmonton really is becoming, it looks almost tornadic. The problem is the radar is so high that I guarantee there is a rotating wall cloud. Oh, yeah. And perhaps it'll funnel aloft. People in Edmonton, folks, if you're in Edmonton, on the north side of Edmonton, the northeast side of Edmonton, very bad area. I'm looking at for rotation. Just a second. There we go here. Let's look at this. There it is right there, and right on the north side of Edmonton. That's Metcalfe County. Why do I mention that? Well, that's the one that's going to Adair County. And if you're in Adair County, it's raining and you're like, what's the big deal? If you're in Columbia, you're going to get hail. And then maybe I think they went golf balls. Is that right? I think they went golf balls.
Yes, golf balls.
I would think somewhere between walnuts and golf balls is not a bad idea heading to Columbia. If your car is outside in Columbia and you have a garage or a carport, go. Move your car right now. You don't want your nice car to be hit by all these hailstones. Tornado-wise, Mallory can track that out. She just did that a minute ago. On my radar over here, Cundith, it's coming. It's coming. Once again, it's pretty close to that parkway again. If you're on the parkway, the tornado is almost going to be on the parkway right now, showing about walnut-size hail just north of there up to golf balls as that storm moves off to the northeast.
Yeah, so let's put a track on that. East at 45. Once again, this warning for Adair County will take us through 9:15 Central. So you've gotten a big heads up because this has been a storm that the National Weather Service has been watching for quite some time because it has had past experience with producing a lot of rotation, confirmed tornadoes, hail as well. So here's that tracker on it as it continues eastward here. We have Nell at 8:45 Central, Flatwood at 9:04, Chance at 9:06, Glens Fork at 9:11, Bryan at 9:16, and then it's off to the east in Russell Springs until at 9:24. So this is that southern portion of Adair County.
Yeah, this is the Weather or Not Twitter site. I trust them really good. They're really good Mets. They've got a wall cloud. That was when it went through Glasgow, very close to the ground. If you go to the Twitter site, you can see that. I also got all these new reports. Here we go. Trees down Du Bois County, trees down in Bowling Green. Part of a roof off a house in Du Bois County. Henryville has had a gust of 56 miles an hour. Trees down in Sellersburg. And I just looked at a little bit of the sounding. That's where the balloon goes up in the air and you get all this information, temperature and all that stuff. The winds are really increasing. You see all these warnings. You're going to see more warnings. So if you're in Jefferson, maybe even in Clark County, Indiana, there's going to be a bunch of warnings moving off to the east, probably maybe Floyd. The Weather Service will be moving that. There's a big wind surge now. So you have two big tornadic storms that have been rotating. One's down there, Adair County. The one they've only severed right now, but the one that's approaching Breckenridge County, that may tour that one again. The rest is going to be a wind event.
Yes.
You're going to see less and less hail except for the Adair storm.
Yeah, that one has been an unfortunately impressive storm to watch here over the last several hours. That it just maintains its steam. That's the one that we're watching for Adair County.
200 some miles, right?
I mean, this is a Great Plains storm that
really
we're seeing in southern Kentucky. That's continued to track through the state. You don't get those all too often around here.
Very rare.
So, as we mentioned, that tornado warning for Adair County will take us for the next 25 minutes or so. So that circulation is pushing east of Edmonton there with the rotation and heading into Adair County as well as we speak. On the north side of that, you still have that severe thunderstorm warning in that orangish color. So that's where you're still dealing with a obviously hail threat, wind threat, heavy rainfall threat. And then this particular cell where we do have another tornado warning, though it's not technically in our viewing area, that's where they have extended eastward all of these severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's what you're seeing in that orangish color. South of Corydon through Brandenburg takes you over to Litchfield, the west side of Hardin County, Hardinsburg as well. We'll see what this storm does and if they need to include a tornado warning as it pushes eastward, if we have more of that rotation there. That's the storm that John Humphreys and Reed Yaden have been watching for us in Breckenridge County.
They just moved. They're moving to McDaniels in Breckenridge County, a little bit further south on that circulation, which is a really good move to see what they can see. Please don't get hail, Reed. I don't want your car to get hurt. So that stuff, all those severe thunderstorm warnings are going to be moved. I know them. I know what
They just issued a tornado. Yep.
There you go.
So this is why we're staying with this storm.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Remember I said I wouldn't be surprised?
Oh, yeah.
There you
So
go.
this is overlaying on top of the severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. Once again, this is the same cell that we've been watching for quite some time here. And this is the same storm that Reed and John have been watching as well. So this is the latest tornado warning that we do have until 10:15. So they've just issued it for a short period of time here.
65. Yeah, the speed has really moved up.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Quarters.
Tornado in quarters.
Yeah, radar indicate, yeah.
So this 8 miles south of Hardinsburg, moving east at 65 miles per hour. That is a quick moving storm. This is for northern Grayson, southern Breckenridge, southwestern Hardin County in central Kentucky. You want to get to your safe place right now. Make sure you're on the lowest level of your home, away from windows. Get in your safe place for the next 20-25 minutes for us, please.
Yeah, I'm looking at that on a couple different radars right now as we speak to take a gander at that. That storm, that's a good warning. There's a hook echo trying to form in this mess.
It's kind of messy, but
it's very messy, and you can see two different areas where there's rotation. This is more, it's almost forming on the leading edge now. This is a little bit of a different situation. It's been alone by itself for a long time.
Right.
But now this thing will form on the leading edge of all that red mess you see on her screen. As that thing moves off to the east, it's very junky right now. It's been almost absorbed, like right there. That's where it would be, right in here, right on the leading edge. Meanwhile, we go down to Adair County, and it is getting, yes, it is in Adair County. It has finally arrived after 6 hours. This thing started in Springfield, Missouri. It's crossed the mighty Mississippi, and it is now there. So this would affect areas south of Columbia. So Columbia, Hale, if you're on the south side, there's where your tornado would form, near the Parkway, maybe a little bit south of the Parkway. And I don't know all those little communities. I'll let you say.
We have Nell, we have Sparksville, Chance, Fairplay, Glens Fork.
Okay.
You all are in the line of this. Flatwood, you're kind of on the edge, so
They had Cundiff.
yeah, get in your safe place.
Yeah, that thing's got a hook echo, a classic Oklahoma tornado. It's trying to wrap itself around. It has a history of producing tornadoes. That would be the one. If you wanted, if there was a tornado, it would be the area just south of Gradyville, maybe near Nell, south of Gradyville. Sparksville, you're in there. Highway 61, highway just south of 80. That's where it'd be.
So that's one storm that we're watching. The other storm that we're watching that we just got a tornado warning on, that's the one that Reed and John have been on. And we hear that he's available to give an update. Reed, how's it going out there?
Okay, we are here at McDaniels. As John said, rain is getting ready to really pick up. We have the outside camera on. Lightning is very prolific here, and we are just right on the outer edge of this storm. And John, we've been watching the same areas as you for possible rotation, and this area is in a tornado warned area at the present time. Mallory did a good job of running over it. This tornado warning includes Breckenridge, Grayson, and Hardin. Runs for another 19, I may be wrong here. I may have picked up the wrong tornado warning here. I believe it's the latest one. You can look for hail, 1-inch hail, and a lot of wind in this. But lightning, as we say, as you can see, we're going along the road here because we're repositioning just a little bit. Lightning is getting more intense. No wind yet. However, the cell, the heaviest part of the cell is just ready to move over us at the present time. We'll keep you updated from inside this tornado warning area. Reed Yaden live at Storm Chase 11.
So much, Reed. So we're going to zoom out to the storm that Reed is on here. Once again, we have 2 active tornado warnings for our Kentuckiana viewing area. One is moving into Adair County as we speak. The other one is this storm that we've been watching south of Hardinsburg. He was in McDaniels, I believe. And this is for this current Sorry, I'm going to take off the radar. Once again, it's a lot. Yeah. It's really starting to fill in, so it gets a little bit messy if you all are trying to understand where this is. But this is until 10:15 for northern Grayson, southern Breckenridge, southwestern Hardin County in central Kentucky, of course, for the next 20 minutes here.
All right, let me tell you. Yeah, there's something real quick. All right, so what you can see, I've been looking at 2 different radars to try to understand it. They're in a really good spot, McDaniels. McQuady, the area where a tornado would form would be south of McQuady, north of McDaniels, and what you're seeing is all these small little rain showers forming ahead. And what sometimes will happen is these cells will merge into the area of rotation, and that's what creates a tornado.
Oh,
so you're starting to see, excuse me,
you're
some warm sectors.
Guys,
yes,
right?
These there's another one, another one. They may merge into this, and that may actually spin up. The cell merger may create the tornado. I've seen this many, many times. So beware in the eastern part of Breckenridge County, right in that area right there.
Okay.
So far eastern, and that's extending into western Hardin County, right?
Right, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, so thank you.
Of course, yeah, that's the area that we're watching, and that's where a tornado warning is in place until 10:15. So once again, time to take shelter, head to your safe place, stay in the lowest level of your home, away from windows, and make sure you ride this out. So we do have I do want to point out we have a severe thunderstorm warning as well. Things are starting to get really active here for Louisville. Yeah. And as you just said, you're like, hey, Louisville, you're not out of the woods just yet. All of this activity off to the west that's been ramping up and becoming more clustered and somewhat linear would give us that wind threat. So this is what we're seeing. It's a very large severe thunderstorm warning on that. Once again, I'll take off the sweeping radar. You can see this includes all of Jefferson County at this point, down to Shepherdsville, Mount Washington, Taylorsville, Anchorage as well. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see, did they just go? They went 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
Yes, that thing's pushing out. I looked at the sounding data. There's a layer of dry air just off the deck, and that will help push that wind down really fast. I was going to say the Louisville airport is going to have a problem. This is going to come into the entire metro. If you have events right now,
head inside.
It's going to happen. There will be a bunch of trees down in Louisville metro, period. The one that's really difficult, very hard for us, we're trying to help save your life, is the storm that's in eastern Breckenridge. That is a junky storm on radar. It is not obvious. I don't care who you are, the best radar person in the country.
It's very difficult.
It's a very strong line of wind that's pushing down, but then you have these small, my buddy Kevin in St. Louis calls them giblets, these little dinky little rain showers on the head, and sometimes they will merge into the main line and produce a tornado. Then we go down to the southeast, Adair County. Massive hook echo down there right now. Let me go to the Nashville radar down there real quick. And come on, baby. There you go. Look at that. There you go. I'll let you.
Yeah, so this is the reason we cut into coverage to begin with. So if you're watching us on the TV side of things, we have been on air due to this particular tornado warning that's moving into Adair County as we speak. This will be for the next 15 minutes, and you can tell this one has rotation. So it's been having that hook. This has been that very healthy storm we've been tracking for hours.
When we did that streaming last night, we talked about renegades, these discrete cells. There you go.
Yep, this is exactly that. So this is a healthy lone cell that's been able to continue to have areas of rotation, confirmed tornadoes, lots of hail on the north side of that rotation where we have the severe thunderstorm warnings in place, heavy rainfall as well. So you're going to get hail and heavy rainfall in Columbia, but just south of you, Sparksville, Glens Fork, Chance, it's going to be close to you as well where that tornado warning, Fairplay, Flatwoods, just on that north side of that with this particular Adair County storm.
Yep. So I feel very good about that tornado warning from the Weather Service. Adair County, it won't last much longer. Probably, I don't know, maybe 10 more minutes. You're Edmonton, you're clear now. Glasgow, you're clear. Still hail in Columbia. Not good.
Right.
Now let's go back to this linear line. This linear line will be going from, let me get up the Louisville radar back again. There we go. you're going to get 70-mile-an-hour winds. So basically, if you're from New Albany into the metro, you're coming into Shepherdsville, you see that giant warning. That warning will eventually go down into the rest of Hardin County, LaRue County, Hart, down all the way down 65. Trust me, there's more warnings coming.
Yeah, so we're going to have some power outages, some tree damage.
Yes.
We've already seen reports of trees down up in southern Indiana as well.
Yes, we told you there was a 45% hatched area.
Damaging winds.
Here it is.
Yep.
It's coming. In case you're wondering what's going on, why is it? It's coming. Meanwhile, Reed and John Humphreys are dealing with a very difficult storm. It looks like the best rotation is down maybe southwest of McDaniels, a little west-southwest. It's a mess in there. As that moves off to the east, that'd be very difficult to spot, and it could happen with any of these little small little cells that are forming ahead of the line. And I have seen this so many times where it goes from nothing to a quick tornado along that line. Meanwhile, you're really seeing drying behind the line, these little channels of wind. That's rear and flow jet. That means there's a lot of wind pushing ahead. So they went 70 with that warning?
They went 70.
Yeah, there's a reason they went 70. So Louisville International, you're about to get a lot of wind. All along 65, Radcliffe, Muldrow, my friends at Fort Knox, going to be a mess.
Yes, so we've got a lot of warnings ongoing. Let's kind of restart from the beginning, give you all that play-by-play of what we're looking at here, and we can give you the big overview view as well. So if we can turn now to Max HD radar, once again, Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here with John Gordon. We are on your TV screens. We are streaming on Plus. You're likely seeing this from many different channels, which we appreciate you tuning in. Things are just now starting to ramp up in the Louisville metro area. If you've been wondering where the rain is, we had a little bit of it earlier, and now we're getting the warning for that wind of 70 miles per hour. So I'm going to put this on a loop. These cells that we've been watching, they were discrete at first, and we still have a couple of those, and now we're starting to see them kind of melt together, congeal together, whatever word you want to use there, and that's why we're starting to see that transition into the damaging wind threat. But if we take just the warnings here, you can see what we are under. So I'm going to start with the Louisville Metro just to show you that severe thunderstorm warning. It is a big one. So this stretches from Radcliffe just up to Corydon, all of Louisville, over to Taylorsville, Shepherdsville, you're included in this as well, Mount Washington, Lebanon Junction. Basically this big yellow polygon here. That is until 10:30. This is due to a storm that was around Brandenburg, moving east very quickly, 75 miles per hour with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible, quarter-sized hail as well. So I want you to take this as seriously as you would a tornado warning, because 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts can do a lot of damage. On the south side of that, we also have severe thunderstorm warnings on either side of the tornado warning. So obviously you see the tornado warning in red. On the north and south sides of that, for Caneyville, Litchfield, Irvington, Hardinsburg as well, that's where you have severe thunderstorm warnings until 9:30. And where they're just being safe rather than sorry, where we could see a quick tornado spin up 10:15, that tornado warning in the red there. So this includes northern Grayson, southern Breckenridge, southwestern Hardin County as well. That is until 10:15. And that's the storm that John and Reed have been on. And as we mentioned, we could see that spin up at any point. So Eastview is a town I see in there. Do you know of any other towns? They're not showing up on my feed, but this is between Hardinsburg and Litchfield, if that gives you a better idea of where that is. And then last but not least, the reason that we cut in, of course, this storm that is in Adair County. So it does look like they went slightly north with the extension of it. Glenn's included in this with that extension of the tornado warning, as that will be moving out of Adair County eventually. But that is that one cell. I can bring up the radar once again.
Glens Fork. If you're in Glens Fork, find a place to hide right now.
So when we talk about that hook, you can see how it literally looks like a hook.
It's trying to wrap itself around.
It's trying to wrap itself around here. And that's heading right towards Glens Fork. Glens Fork, I need you in your safe place. On the north side of that, Columbia, you're likely getting a lot of hail and rain. But just south of you, very dangerous. And that's going to continue to track east, slightly northeast, and head toward Russell Springs eventually. So make sure you are in your safe place there. That one for Adair County will be taking us through the next 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, so looking at looked at the terminal Doppler radar here, and what's going on right now is what you see is these wind channels pushing into the metro. You see these little channels. That's an indication of very, very strong winds. So there will be damage in the metro. There will be power outages. Basically, the worst of the wind to me looks like it's basically the Watterson southbound, Bullitt County out towards Fort Knox, Muldrow, all around Radcliffe, Flaherty. And I see these towns, back to the question she asked me a moment ago, must be getting old. But anyway, for the tornado warning out of Breckenridge that goes into Hardin, there's a few towns, Stevensburg, Summit, Hudson, all in there under the gun for a possible tornado threat. And what's interesting in there is there's a really, really strong wind surge east of Hardinsburg, coming towards Elizabethtown. I would say between 70 and 80 mile an hour winds. So I can't see a tornadic area right now. I wouldn't say there's not. I just can't see one at this time. I'm trying to see if there's a specific area. John and Reed, if you have something, please let us know. It's a very difficult situation because it's a bunch of small little cells trying to merge with the main line, and that's very problematic to try to identify. And I see why the Weather Service did what they did. But it's not like that the big supercell that's south of Columbia that's still in the south part of Adair County. Good news is it's almost out of the county. It is, I would say you have about 4 to 5 more minutes for the tornado. Maybe more in there. What do you got?
We have tree branches down Fort Knox, 71 knot gust at SDF.
There you go.
Yep.
Good call, Weather Service. That's a really good proactive warning. We told you even before there was a warning. They'll be issuing warnings there. That's that rear end. There's just these wind channels. If you zoom in, you can almost see them. See these little lines that come in? These small little lines. They
on the backside.
On the backside. See those little lines right there?
Yeah.
That's pushing tremendous wind along the whole convection, the whole thunderstorms. That means wind, W-I-N-D. So I'm telling you, everyone in the metro, Bowman Field, South Louisville, you're going to get tremendous winds, 60, 70 mile per hour winds. 71 knots is about 76, 77 miles an hour. That's almost 80 miles an hour. So be prepared. Any event going on in Louisville right now, proms, whatever, please, I hope you're in a safe shelter. That's 75 to 80 mile an hour winds.
All right, it seems like we can get another update from Reed Yaden and John Humphreys, who have been out in the field. Reed, how's it looking?
Okay, we are presently near McDaniel. We've moved a little bit here, but we are getting some very good wind right now. Very heavy rain and intense lightning. No hail so far. Of course, John, as you know, at night in these conditions, you're not going to see any tornadic action if it's there. You only see the evidence of it unless you're, pardon me, happen to be closer than you should, then you may hear it. But so far, no trees down here, but we're getting some good 45, maybe 50 mile per hour winds as we come across the highway here. Whoa, there we go. And you can see the wind whipping the rain sideways across the road, greatly reducing the visibility. So that's our situation right now here in Breckenridge County. We're going to make our way eventually. Whoa, there you go. I'm not sure what we had. Yeah, we're getting debris running across here now, guys. Winds are up, I would say, John, 50 to 55 steady state winds, higher in gust, and we're doing about 15 miles an hour right now. So we're right in the core of the very heavy rain. Again, no hail. The very intense lightning continues, and we're just picking our way along the highway here in Breckenridge County. So that is our latest. Our intent is to move toward Litchfield, but it is going to be a very, very slow ride, as you can see. Pardon me? Yeah, a lot of wind here. Very, very strong winds. I'd say now, John, the winds, hold it. We're going to have to stop. Yeah. We're getting so much debris blowing around here we can't see. Winds are easily 60 miles an hour here, John, at the present time. John and Mallory. just picking up carefully here, as you can figure. Still, I repeat again, still no hail in this storm. Not to say it's there, but we have not encountered it yet. So that's our story as we proceed across Breckinridge County. If there are any new developments, we'll bring them to you. Reed Yaden reporting live from Storm Chase 11.
All right, thank you so much, Reed and John. Please be safe out there.
Thank you for the report.
Yes. Did just get a new report, SDF peak of 82-mile-per-hour wind gust. That was just put in our National Weather Service chat.
That's
so
the peak wind, yeah.
That shows you just how strong this line of storms is. And they did go ahead and extend that severe thunderstorm warning.
Like we said.
Yes, off to the east as well. So Bardstown, Hodgenville, it's moving east into Taylorsville. There are very strong winds that are headed in your direction here as we head over the next, this is moving very quickly over the next half hour.
So we got 52-mile-per-hour. The Kentucky Mezzanine had 52 in Meade County, 52 in Hardin County. You just saw the 82. 82. Let's go back to the radar. Newsroom, I hope you heard that, 82 miles an hour. I guarantee there's power outages. You may want to look at the power outage map. All right, let's go through these storms again. Let's go to Adair County real quick. Is it out of the county? Almost.
It's almost, yeah.
Almost. So if you were going to have a tornado, it is moving a little more east of north of east. I don't have a town.
Yes. Sorry, they're speaking to it. Reed, we're going to toss things back out to Reed. They're getting hail right now.
Okay.
So Reed and John.
What do you got? Where are you?
Okay, we got into some really, really strong winds, and the winds were shifting direction on us, and quite a bit of debris coming down. So I'm not so sure we weren't in a little rotation there. We passed it now again, but as you can see, the rain is still very intense here in Breckinridge County. We've not seen any trees down, but there is quite a bit of debris blowing around. And we've had some good winds here, certainly 60 miles an hour. Right now, I think they're more like 45 to 50, but we had some good 60-mile-an-hour winds there just a few minutes ago. And we picked up very briefly some marble-sized hail right before you threw it to us. Just a brief period of time, we had some marble-sized hail. So that's the latest for Breckinridge County here in Storm Chase 11.
All right, thank you so much, Reed. I do want to bring us back to the radar because we do have a new tornado warning. And once again, we said this is along that leading edge. So this is just south of that one that we were tracking, and that continues eastward as well. So this includes Litchfield, Sonora, Bonneville, Millerstown as well. This one was just issued moments ago and will take us until 9:45 Central. It also includes Upton. So this is a new tornado warning, southwestern LaRue County, northwestern Hart County, Grayson County, south central Breckinridge County, southwestern Hardin County until 10:45 Eastern, 9:45 Central Time. This severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Litchfield, moving east at 60 miles per hour. So some locations, obviously Litchfield included in that, Rock Creek, St. Paul, Eastview, Caneyville, Broadford, Black Rock, Tar Hill, Duff included in this tornado warning.
I want to just mention that in the metro, I'm showing radar. If you're in Mount Washington right now, I see between 80 and 85 mile per hour winds. If you're in Mount Washington, if anywhere that's basically south of Fern Creek on the Snyder, if you went due south of there over towards Mount Washington, 80, 85 mile per hour winds. And there's wind channel, Shepherdsville. Right now, you're probably getting 70 right now. So then let's go south. If we go south from there, you just heard Reed and John Humphreys go through that whole area. That's kind of a more complicated area. As you just saw them drive through there, there is several little areas that are trying to rotate on the leading edge of this main cluster of convection, these line of storms moving in. I'm going to look at the terminal Doppler real quick. Same thing, it's very junky, but it does show a lot of wind, That new tornado warning the Weather Service did on the leading edge for what's becoming a quasi-linear convective system, a squall line that's moving in there.
Oh, this is that wind that you're
talking
about.
There's that wind. Look at that.
Whew.
Zoom in on that screen. There you go.
So, Butyl, Fern Creek, Fairmont,
Yes.
Mount Washington. You're seeing those bright pink colors.
Yeah, it's very bad.
That's how you know that is some strong wind.
That's 80-mile-an-hour winds.
And this is what I was talking about in the newscast. I wanted everybody to take these severe thunderstorm warnings just as seriously as you would a tornado warning tonight, because 80-mile-per-hour wind gust, I mean, that's some serious business here. So,
Archtown Road, 150.
Yes.
That's heading over to Fisherville, over to Finchville. You're out of the woods there, Simpsonville, Shelbyville, you're Taylorsville. You're going to have between 70 and 80 mile-an-hour winds moving eastbound.
yeah, you see those bright pinks? Phew.
Yeah. Now go south,
Okay.
if you don't mind. There we go. All right, so you got these new tornado warnings. There's one right.
Yeah.
Can you circle?
Yes.
Just to make life
This
a little
bright.
That's an area of concern. Do this one right there. There's an area of concern. It's very junky. But that's, line them up. There you go. By golly,
Right.
it works. So that's that. And then you go back. They've issued a huge severe thunderstorm warning that covers our southern part and our southern communities. And the tornado warning for Adair, it's out.
Yes.
That they've issued it, but that's not our viewing area. That's Russell County. Folks in Russell Springs, Jamestown, you're under the threat of the tornado as it's moving off to the east. Our new problem is this look at that right there. That's an excellent rotation.
Yeah, you can see that.
That's Russell County. If you know anyone in Russell Springs or Jamestown, you mean to tell them right now that's a very life-threatening storm. Meanwhile, we have this large line of storms moving down from the west to the east, and you're seeing 80 to 85 mile-an-hour winds. I suspect you'll be getting a bunch of damage.
We have 12,000 power
There you
outages in
go.
Jefferson County right now. I expect that to continue to grow.
Escalate.
Yes, and remember, if you lose power, you can always stream us on your phone, WHAS 11 app.
There you
Hopefully
go.
you did charge that ahead of time, and you can continue to watch our coverage here, because these winds mean business. We had a report of 82-mile-per-hour winds gusting at SDF, and a lot of these are warned for at least 70-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, so let's
go back to the velocity.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the velocity. This gives you an idea of how strong the winds are. Sometimes we use them for rotation, but for these kind of winds, you can show
Mount Washington, you're getting hammered right now. I mean, right this second. Fern Creek. I love Floyd's Fork. Who doesn't love Floyd's Fork? And they're getting his pounded right now in the southeast part of Jefferson County.
and this is all quickly moving east. So
What's the movement they had? They must have put...
it was like 65.
Yeah, maybe even be I was going to say 65, 70 miles an hour. This has become a linear base now. Even though you got that severe out there in Elizabeth and south of Corden, you're done. It's over.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's moving east at 75 miles
Yeah,
per hour.
I believe
These
that.
are very quick movers.
So the Weather Service is busy. Believe me, they're busy. So if you're in Harrison County, you're clear. If you're in Floyd, you're clear. It's the areas basically almost 65 eastbound. And they're going to be, these warnings, notice how far east they've gone now.
Yeah, that one was just issued, so this now stretches east to Frankfort, because we were talking interstate speeds. These storms are moving 75 miles per hour with gusts 70 to 80 miles per hour. So get away from windows right now,
These are big
because
warnings.
these are some big warnings. Yes.
Yeah, and they need to be. They can't keep up with it. It's going so fast. The one thing that could happen in southern Kentucky is some of these lines could become more east-west. That could be a flash flood threat down by Bowling Green. Just telling you, if you have friends in Bowling Green, you think it's over. It's not over. We have 2 tornado warnings right now. All right, the one's gone now. All right, we're down to that one main tornado warning.
Yes.
And there's 2 little areas of circulation. Can you point back in the velocity?
Yeah, let's pull up the
velocity
velocity again. So this is the tornado warning that we're watching. This one issued until 9:45 Central Time. So let's put on the velocity here. Of course.
There it is.
Right south of
Put the
Litchfield.
warning back up, if
Yes.
you would, please. Bingo. There it is, right there.
Yep.
There it is. If you're on the southeast side of Litchfield off of, I don't know, whatever that road is there.
88.
Is that the Parkway? I think that's the Parkway. That's your area. And John, if you hear this and read, The area that I would be aiming for, if you ever get there, would be on the southeast side of Litchfield. Please be safe. I thank you for what you're doing for us. That's the area where a tornado would be forming right now. If you're west of there, you're just getting wind and rain. You're out of the tornado threat. If you're west of Litchfield, if you're Litchfield eastbound, that's the area right there. Strong indicate, I see them back on TV.
Yeah, they're heading that direction.
Thank you, guys.
Please be safe.
Please be safe. I had a nice lunch with Reed the other day. All right, so that storm's moving off to the east. Yeah, what are towns? You want to do a track on that?
Millerstown, yeah, let's do a track. How quickly is this moving? Let's see. Give me, guys, we're going to take a look at the latest warning for this so I can just see how quickly the storm is moving.
I put it moving at 70.
Okay, you think 70?
Yeah.
All right, let's take that east.
Bingo. There you go. I-65 at what time would that be? By Lone Star, 9:35 Central.
Yeah, so Fragrant 924, Millerstown 930, 933 Riders Mill, Lone Star 935. That's right along the I-65 corridor, Bonnieville as well. 937, 940 in High Hickory, 942 in Hammondville, and 1044 in Magnolia. That is that area of circulation that we've been watching. The tornado warning that was put into place until 1045 there. This is heading east. And as John kind of mentioned, this has been more difficult to, obviously when we have supercells, it's a lot more obvious where you're seeing that rotation. We're starting to see more of those linear complexes here, so it's a lot of wind plus some rotation along that leading edge.
Yeah, we've had it all today. We've had left movers, which are hailers. We've had right movers, which are tornadoes. And now we're having what's a squall line and a tremendous wind surge. So what towns we got in there?
Fisherville.
Yeah, I'd mention
Whitfield, Crenshaw. That's, I mean, just look at that.
Yeah, that's bad. Very bad, strong winds east of Mount Washington.
Heading toward Taylorsville.
Taylorsville, it's
Simpsonville.
coming. If you're in Taylorsville, if you're on 155 and you hear our voice, you're about to be hit with between 60 and 80 mile an hour winds. If you're on I-64 between the county line, Simpsonville, Shelbyville, you're going to get hit a lot of wind.
Yeah, so that's why obviously these severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued. And like I said before, take these as seriously as you would a tornado warning because we are seeing power outages. We are seeing tree damage. These severe thunderstorm warnings are being issued for 70 mile per hour wind gust at least. We had a report at SDF of an 82 mile per hour peak wind gust.
Anything new in here?
That's what I'm looking at. Nothing. That's
Trees
Grayson
down
County.
Crestwood. Thank you from Oldham County.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, nothing. You're going to hear, believe me, if you're in Mount Washington, you had trees down. So let's take a look while Mallory's looking at that. A long line of storms from east to Shepherdsville, and it's moving to the east very quickly. Elizabethtown. The good news is, if you're in Evansville, it's over. This is the main show.
Yeah, so if you're on the backside of this line.
Du Bois, Orange. Yeah, you're right there. It's over.
You're in the clear.
You can begin to enjoy your weekend.
So the rest of us.
Look at the lightning on that part.
I know. All of the lightning that we're watching.
That storm, that tornado one. Can you zoom back to velocity again? Let's take a look at that one. The one southeast side of Litchfield is the most imminent danger, and it's very innocuous. Where's Litchfield?
I guess it's
see,
that
there it
little
is.
notch.
It's more broad now. It's right there. So the reflectivity right there.
Okay.
And we'll take a gander at that. It's very hard to see. Yeah, right in there. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
And that will not be a long track like the one that came out of Missouri. That will go intermittently. So in a few minutes, there may be one where you see another circulation. And these are very hard to deal with.
That's kind of what we're more used to around here. These line segments.
This is normal.
Yeah, the little notches that you hear us talking time and time again every time there's a severe weather event here in Kentuckiana.
I think your hail threat is over. Except if you're down in Russell County and the eastern part of Adair, it's over.
So I do want to talk about Breckinridge County. Hardensburg fire, reports of power lines down in Cloverport, a couple trees down in McDaniels and Webster area.
Yeah. Yes. All right, let's take a look again. The most likelihood of an area of rotation would be about 6 miles southeast of Litchfield. I really don't have a town there. probably off
Reed
the
and John
parkway.
are now in Litchfield.
Oh, great job. You guys rock. They know what to do. North, east, what road is that? Whatever that road is off of 224. Right in there is the best area. Be careful. That's a squall line, guys, you know. Very heavy rain, torrential rain all along this. If you were to drive on the parkway, if you were driving anywhere on these roads, back roads that flood, you're going to have flooding problems. Tremendous rainfall rates. And the one thing that we're really seeing on the velocity is a tremendous amount of wind. Again, Taylorsville. Show them the Taylorsville wind again.
So let's switch back to Max. We're also taking the feed of Reed and John that are in Litchfield right now around that tornado-warned storm there. So a lot of wind power with this, a lot of rain as well. Let's take the velocity once again for
Taylorsville.
Yeah. You're getting hit hard right now.
All those beautiful subdivisions north of Taylorsville. I'm telling you, getting hit hard right now.
Lots of wind there. I expect that power outage number to grow, tree reports to come in as we carry on here throughout tonight.
I-64, Shelbyville, it's coming. If you're at the 32, 35-mile marker, the 28-mile marker at Simpsonville, a tremendous wind. Be very careful. 18-wheelers, if you can hear my voice, this is how you roll over. Tremendous wind, Taylorsville, not good.
And we're going to go back out to Reed and John Humphreys that are in the Litchfield area right now. They've been tracking that tornado-warned storm for us. Reed, how's it looking out there?
Okay, we are in Litchfield. Steady rain, lightning, no hail at the present time. Winds are less than 25. Right as we came into, the downtown area, a lot of lights went off. But within 5 minutes or so, I guess they got the circuit switched over and they came back on. So my point is, we're not observing so far any great amount of power off down here. Have not seen any damage. Of course, as you know, John and Mallory, one of the things you look for with debris, first place you're going to see it is on the roadway. We're not seeing that yet, and we're getting into the south side of Litchfield now. So we're going to look it over real good before we head north. But at this point, kind of status quo here with a steady rain. Not that bad, certainly nothing like we were in Breckinridge County when we were right underneath that cell as it was on its way here. But there's the view ahead. You can see here in Litchfield, coming up on the parkway, and not observing any damage yet or any great amount of lights. Any great amount of power outages. Let me get our external lights on here again, and you'll be able to see a little bit there on the roadway. There you go. Rain is steady, but not extremely heavy. I'd call it a steady, moderate rain. So that's the situation from Grayson County in Litchfield at the moment. We'll keep you updated. Reed Yaden live at Storm Chase 11.
All right, thank you so much, Reed. So once again, he's been watching that storm that was showing signs of rotation. Obviously, we're talking about the leading edge, and it looks very messy on here, trying to figure out where that rotation is. But John, you were pointing it out, what you were seeing.
Yeah, so if you zoom in right there, what town? It's north of Millerstown. If you John Humphreys and Reed, the area I see is west of Flint Hill, north of Millerstown. What county are we in? So I don't mess this up. Are we in Hardin?
Yeah, let me take off the.
Sorry, folks. I think we're in Hardin.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. West of Sonora. Look at the lightning there. You know you're in the right area when you see that lightning surge in there. But there was one little area of rotation right in the western part of Hardin County. I just got a note from my student, Krista. Thank you. 13,000 power outages. And there it is. So Reed and John, you already know this, but the best area looks like it's trying to form near Millerstown, maybe near Flint Hill. This is very difficult to work radar on.
And they just trimmed down the tornado warning. So where you're seeing that polygon, some good work there.
They may go severes with tour possible from this point forward, unless they see something so obvious.
And as we've talked about, we know this here in the Ohio Valley, and I know you know this from working so many events like that. Power outages, 58,000 out in the state of Kentucky. So not a big surprise with such a big wind event here. As we were talking about, wind, our big worry, and that's what's coming true with this system. So It's marching east very quickly. We were talking about that warning through the metro. So this is now, it looks like, east of Louisville. And most
here.
Yeah, east. It's now east of Louisville, moving through Shelbyville, Taylorsville with the strongest winds that we were talking about, those very high winds. So anytime we put on velocity, we're seeing these reds and pinks. We're either looking at areas of rotation or just winds. And some of these are kind of blown out a bit that you're seeing around Taylorsville.
Yeah, we'll go up further north.
Yeah.
So let's not forget our friends from Bedford, Newcastle, where the winery is, LaGrange, Eminence, down to Shelbyville, Finchville, Taylorsville. Anywhere in there, 60 plus, 70, maybe even 80 near southern Shelby, Taylorsville. I don't know where that. 44 near Southville and.
Yeah. North of Little Mount. So that's why we're seeing these giant severe thunderstorm warnings. And once again, we were talking about these storm systems just moving so quickly. They're being issued, and they're being issued for 70 mile per hour wind gusts, and then they're also moving east at about 70 miles per hour. So very, very quick movers, and this extended warning until 11 p.m. does include Frankfurt.
Right, that tornado warning, I wouldn't be surprised they don't extend it further east. The one that's covering Hardin, northern Hart, getting into the far western part of LaRue. I suspect you'll see severe torr possible, which means in their tornado tag, unless they see a really strong couplet, they're going to go severe thunderstorm warning, probably 70 with isolated tornado warning. So the next tactical move they have to make is that's someone getting out of the Bonneville on 31W and I-65 south of Sonora at the 81 mile marker. I think what they'll do is probably go big severes. You already see enormous severes now. There's only three.
Right, they're very large.
They're huge. If you're playing Risk, they're like taking over the world here. So anyway, they're moving east. I wouldn't be surprised the next move, you'll see Washington, Marion, Taylor, Greene. Love to go to Greene County and Summersville in the drive-in theater. Metcalf down to Barron. You'll probably see some giant severes with isolated tornado warning, maybe. I'm not sure they'll go tour after this.
Yeah, let's
How does that expire, by the way? That's
10:45.
10:40. What time?
So 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to take off the velocity, and we're going to put on the wings here.
Good idea.
Just to see the visual. Because like I always say, I'm a big visual person, big picture version person. I can't even talk at this point. We've been talking for a bit. Thank you all for still tuning in with us, whether you're watching via TV or our stream. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell, Meteorologist John Gordon. You can see the camera behind me in Scottsburg has been shaking with some of the wind. But this is a big picture view of the current warnings that we have in place. So we hopped on TV because of that tornado warning down in Adair County. Then we were watching that circulation around Hardinsburg, Litchfield. That's continued to move east. And as John mentioned, may not be extended just because it's such a messy setup when you get those leading lines there in terms of circulation. But we still do have that active tornado warning until 10:45. And then you're just seeing some big chunks of severe thunderstorm warnings out along that leading edge. So this stretches from Newcastle all the way down to Bowling Green here, where we're seeing some reports of anywhere between 70 plus mile per hour wind gust. Once again, I keep bringing up the one at SDF where we had a wind gust of 82 miles per hour reported. Just more and more trees down. I may have already said this, power lines down in Cloverport. In Breckinridge County, trees down in McDaniels, Webster area in Breckinridge County. That's where John Humphreys and Reed Yaden were not too long ago. Trees down and power lines also in Salem. And I'm expecting more and more outages as we continue onward. So
Fence damage, deck damage.
Valley Station.
Yeah, Valley Station.
All right.
All right, notice one thing that Mallory, when she just gave you the overview, there's nothing west of those washes. There will be no more warnings tonight.
Yay.
For Louisville westbound. All right, it's over.
You're in the clear. Go to bed.
You can go to bed. We're running out of counties, actually. They'll put out more severes shortly. They'll cover
continue to...
Washington, Marion, Taylor, Greene, and Adair. And once they decide what to do on the tornado warning down south, I just saw a funnel cloud report. That's down in down by Mammoth Cave. That's along the line. I'm not surprised people see funnels because there's so much wind pushing in along that line. Everything looks distorted. You saw Reed doing his report earlier, and
right.
Who knows what he ran through.
Shoo, yeah, we don't know.
I'm glad you guys are safe.
Yeah, debris, lots
Look
of
how
lightning.
messy that is. That is extremely messy. And the models finally got it. They put it together. The congealing finally happened. This is all wind. The hail's over.
Yeah.
No more hail and very isolated tornadoes. This is a wind and heavy rain threat and lightning, of course.
Yeah, we were talking about how we've had a little bit of everything. We've had those discrete supercells where we had long track tornadoes, very large hail. Then things got a little junky as they started to congeal, and we're finally getting that line segment that weather models were trying to pick up on here. So the timing's still pretty much on track, I would say. It's 10:36. This should be out of here by midnight, if not before then, because this is marching along very quickly here. And we are seeing that more west to east orientation down in south central Kentucky, where that heavy rainfall threat continues.
Yeah. I personally am thankful the hail's over. I got a new roof yesterday, and I'm glad I didn't need to get another one. This whole line is really moving east at 60. Like Mallory said, it'll be done by 11:30, 11:45, this whole thing, and it's over. I mean, you'll have some more rain across the southern tier, the bottom 2-3 tiers of counties, but that will be about it here after this. So let's look at that tornado warning again. That covers places like Sonora, Upton, Bonneville. I'm just looking at two different radars in case you're wondering, what is he doing?
You're good.
I'm looking at
I'm
both.
going to zoom in and take the sweeping radar off that.
Okay.
And the lightning.
The only area that would really is in Western Hart, west of Bonneville. There's a couple little chinks. Can you show that real quick? Yeah, that's the stuff they're looking at.
Yeah.
But I don't see anything like we saw that southeast of Litchfield earlier that was legit. I would not be surprised they go severe.
Right.
They're running out of space. They've got to make a decision very soon.
Yeah.
I think they'll go severe, possibly isolated tornado, definitely severe. So we'll find out here shortly. And then there will be no more tornado warnings if they don't go toward it.
Right. I do want to get back out to Reed Yaden and John Humphris. They've been out on the road all afternoon and evening for us, tracking the storms. Reed, what's the latest where you are?
Okay, we did check that, and we looked at it on our radar and passed right under that possible rotation there at Millersville, and nothing. We looked around carefully, no sign of debris. Winds very light down here right now, less than 10 miles an hour, and the rain is moderate. Lightning is certainly nothing like what it was. We see some lightning off the distance here, but it is not intense like it was. So situation is winding down. We are on the Western Kentucky Parkway right now. We're about 15 miles or so outside of Elizabethtown. Going to make a pass through there, and we'll check anything out that you guys need us to check. Then we'll be coming north on 65 into the city. And I would like to extend an invitation to you, Mallory, and to you, John, to join John and I in the morning at 6 a.m. for breakfast at the New Albany Farmers Market, because we're going to be on the air at 6 a.m. on GMK.
Guys,
Okay,
I think
guys,
I'm going to be
we'll see you
asleep.
again in a little bit.
I will
Let
be
us
in
know
a
if you need us
coma.
to check anything.
All right, thank you so much, Reed
Thank
and
you guys.
John.
You guys did great today. Give them a thumbs up.
Yes, thank you all so much. Yes, poor Reed. I mean, he lives for the storm chase, of course, but he also
Reed's a rock
does
star.
our Saturday morning newscast. So he's going to be up dark and early. He's not going to get much sleep tonight. So
Thank you,
so much,
John.
John and Reed. We appreciate you all so much. So yes, looks like they extended that severe thunderstorm warning. We are basically almost to the edge. We are to the edge of our coverage area here. So once again, I'm going to take off the sweeping radar. So you can see that orange polygon that was just extended all the way east, Springfield, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Columbia, until 11:30 p.m. Eastern. So that's when it's going to be moving out of our viewing area. This
When
is
they go
for
into wind speed,
70.
yeah,
Yep, 70 mile per hour wind gusts, penny-sized hail. So as we mentioned, hail becoming less of a threat, wind becoming more of a threat. So this one has been hard to nail down, but it has really moved into those trends that we were talking about with the cells, the hail threat, the tornado threat.
We were pretty close.
And this line moving through with the wind threat here.
One thing that's really noticeable, if you really look at the wind speed, folks, is if you're in LaRue County, if you're in Hodgenville, you're in Buffalo, you're on Lincoln Parkway, Magnolia, a lot of wind right now. New Haven, my friends in Bardstown, Bardstown down to New Haven, Loretto, down by the distillery, very strong winds. Hodgenville right now, I would say if you want to get some wind, Hodgenville to Buffalo, 70 to 80 mile an hour winds. Look at that right in there.
Yeah,
See that?
New Haven.
New Haven.
Anytime, once again, where you're seeing those bright pinks there.
Yeah, that's a
See
lot
where
of
that
wind
is.
in there.
Whew.
And then also, if you go over to Lawrenceburg, Anderson County, let's not forget about them. Anderson County.
It's right over Harrisonville right now.
Yeah, Harrisonville, all in there. Just a mess. A lot of wind in there. Just a tremendous amount of wind. Please drive safe. There's hydroplaning potential everywhere with these heavy rain. And blinding at night, not a good situation.
Yeah, please be safe. So once again, just to regroup for anybody just hopping on here, because we've been streaming, we've been on TV, we've been off TV, we've been back on TV. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here with meteorologist John Gordon. 79,000 power outages.
In the state.
Obviously in the state. That number is
up to 20, 21, 22.
Continuing to grow. 21,000 people in Jefferson County without power. Good reason for that. We're talking 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts with some of these storms that have been rolling through here. So we're still tracking those severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. And we have that one singular tornado warning that we assume is going to be allowed to expire in the next couple of minutes here.
Say anything in the chat?
Let's see. So we have the National Weather Service chat pulled up here, and it gives us some
I think they're going to let
thinking.
it go.
I can kind of agree with that, and you can go with 70 mile per hour wind gusts, TOR possible if you need to.
I think that's the end of it. I don't see any rotation in there anymore. And they're within 10 minutes. They can't even cancel it within the last 5 minutes. That's an annoying thing.
And it sounds like Reed has footage of some trees down on the Western Kentucky Parkway. Reed?
Yeah, this is on the Western Kentucky Parkway. We're eastbound near Eastview. These are the westbound lanes. You can see it over there. Some trees down. We came up on traffic that had stopped. About a half a dozen or a dozen semis. I think the drivers got out, moved the trees over. There you see, we put our internal lights on there. Took some trees down right along there. You can see it. And this is on that's on the westbound side of the Western Kentucky Parkway near Eastview. No problems here all through. Trees are off to the side, a little debris on the road, and that is about it. The rain continues. You can look out and see, though, there's no wind here at the present time. That's the latest from us here on the Western Kentucky Parkway in Storm Chase 11.
All right, thank you so much, Reed and John. Once again, trees down. We've had reports of power outages, lots of wind power with this particular storm system, lots of rain, and don't forget the lightning. There's quite a bit of lightning here. In fact, you can always put on these queries. This is around E-Town, just east of E-Town. 250 strikes there. Obviously, a lot of power to tap into, a lot of fuel with these thunderstorms that we've been seeing here. But at this time, it's turning into a wind threat and a heavy rainfall threat rather than a hail and a tornado threat. So that's kind of the evolution of this at this point. And once again, I will take off the sweeping radar. I haven't seen any information about them extending this further, so we'll see. But as John mentioned, he's assuming just that this severe thunderstorm warning will be allowed to take us through here. So that one off to the east, 11:30. That includes Springfield, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Greensburg, as well for that potential of 70 mile per hour wind gust and penny-sized hail. And I actually do want to draw a point. If you are not included in these warnings and you are off to the west, once again, you can go to bed.
It's over.
So I'm going to draw that circle because I've gotten feedback from viewers that they love to know when they're in the clear. You are in the clear.
We had that viewer earlier asked us about Somerset. Well, they did put a tour out, that same cell, the one that started in Missouri hours and hours ago. That went all the way across, hit Sykeston, it hit Paducah, it hit Bowling Green, it hit Glasgow, Edmonton. They've issued a tour. That darn thing could go to London tonight. Meanwhile, you're seeing these are the size of risk games. Big severe thunderstorm warnings that cover, we've got three giant ones that basically cover the entire area all the way over to the Lexington, east of Louisville. The one in Louisville, you're done. They could cancel that right now.
Yeah.
You're done. You're done in Oldham County. You're done in Henry County, Shelby County, except in the far east, you're done. Basically, you're all clear. They just haven't cleared it. They're busy, and they're short-staffed. So the storms in Hodgenville, Bardstown, Bonnieville, all producing a lot of wind, all in there. The big, strong wind channels that she just showed you. Look at these wind channels again. I think that's so impressive.
Yeah, no,
and
it
it's
really
gone,
is.
by the way. It's gone.
Yeah, oh, right there.
Right there. There you go. What town is that?
East of New Haven.
Yeah, New Haven. You got trees down in New Haven.
Loretto.
I know that. Loretto, down at the distillery, Holy Cross, down 247, all there in south of Bardstown.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get my county. Where are we? Right there. Is that Eastern LaRue into Nelson? Yeah, Nelson.
Yep.
All in Nelson.
Yep.
Tremendous wind, 70, 75 mile an hour winds. Not good on a Friday night.
Yeah, so if you all are wondering what we're talking about, that pink, that bright pink, and that's heading east very quickly.
Yeah, lots of wind in there.
So lots of wind energy with this setup tonight, which is why we're seeing those big swaths of severe thunderstorm warnings in place for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts or so. No active tornado warnings, but I will mention this time and time again. Please take these severe thunderstorm warnings seriously, because 82-mile-per-hour wind gusts, that is serious business. And we had that at the Louisville airport earlier this evening. In addition to that, lots of heavy rainfall, not something in our particular viewing area, but I just saw my first flash flood warning of the evening. That's off to the west here. So
yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of those actually. Notice how that line is like elongating, becoming more parallel, and that's what we talked about earlier today. If you listen to us, we talked about the threat in the bottom 2 or 3 tiers of Kentucky, and that's what's going on. And see how it, if you do a loop, notice how it elongates.
yeah.
We're running out of counties, folks, but if you're in our eastern viewing area, we're done. We're staying with you here. Tremendous wind all along that line, all the way from Frankfort down all the way to Bowling Green.
Yeah, lots of lightning too. I'm sure these are very noisy storms as they're rolling through here.
Scary, driving at night.
Yeah, lots of power outages as well.
Yeah, not a good night on a Friday night.
Someone, I can't get the video in here, but somebody said something about a big blue light. I'm assuming that was probably a transformer, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But
And we're gathering the
Transformer blooming, maybe?
yeah, the
I'm
power
assuming.
outages are really increasing.
power out in PRP.
Yeah, lots of power outages. I'm sure Doug's got a better handle than we do. Oh, there's a
Carport,
Carport destroyed.
That's in Valley Station.
Valley Station. We got that report earlier. You have friends in Somerset, Lake Cumberland, tell them right now they're under a tornado warning. That's that storm that went across all across our south in Dare County. That's a problem. Can we zoom in? Let's just zoom in. The main anchor points, you're wondering where in the heck is all this stuff? It basically goes up just west of Lexington, goes east of Bardstown, down towards, Mumfordville, and then anchors, there you go. If you're along that line, you're going to get 60 to 80 mile an hour winds. So I'm going to see if the mesonet, while you do that, I'm going to see if they've got any new gusts in there.
Yeah, so
There's
once
a
again,
59. Who's that? Who is that? That is,
I'm going to go over this in white so you might be able to see that better.
is that
But once again, that leading edge, it's all pushing off to the east, 60, 70 miles per hour with 70 to 75. We've had reports of 80 plus mile per hour wind gusts. That's why we're seeing so many trees down, power outages as well. If you still have your power, you're a lucky one this evening. And then on top of that, obviously heavy rainfall and lightning. But Louisville area, you are in the clear. Litchfield, Hardinsburg, Brandenburg, English, Salem, Madison, anywhere off to the west and northwest of that line, you are in the clear for the night, so you can go to bed and rest easy. We got a much nicer weekend ahead for us, so that's some good news. We deserve it.
Yes, we do. Spencer County, 59 miles an hour from the Kentucky Mesonet, 51 at the southern one in Shelby County, Hardin County, 59 miles per hour. We had 82 at the Louisville
That one's
airport.
still so impressive.
Yeah, that is. Where is that?
That's heading toward Loretto, I think. Yes.
Loretto. Oh, God,
Maker's
by the
Mark?
distillery. Maker's Mark.
Not the bourbon.
No, we're broken. No, there's a lot of wind, seriously, between Springfield and Lebanon, and Loretto is the next destination as that line moves off to the east. No tornado threat right now. We have a very strong wind threat. We have a very strong heavy rain threat, and lightning is prolific.
Yes. In fact, let me put back on the radar so you can see all that lightning. I mean, you can just see how impressive it is.
Can you do one of those, how many strikes there is?
I can do a big picture one.
Yeah, watch this.
Yeah.
Everyone be impressed.
All right. Let's just do our viewing area.
Okay. Take a guess, Doug. How many lightning strikes do you think are in there right now?
1,000 per minute.
Not per minute, but 1,000 lightning strikes, yes.
Yeah, you got it.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yes,
I mean,
Doug's the man.
That's a lot of fuel that we're working with there. And as we mentioned, all of these individual storm cells that we were tracking early this afternoon when they first fired up, when we were starting our first live stream, 3 o'clock, far off to our west in Arkansas and Missouri. They've traveled a ways, they became clustered, and now we're dealing with that line that we were waiting for to kind of fill in here. And this is all pushing this off to the east and southeast, getting it out of here, and we're going to enjoy some dry time behind that.
We sure are. We got one nasty tornadic supercell. If you know anyone in Lake Cumberland area in Somerset,
Yep, this
is
guy right
very
here.
serious.
This is the same one that was in Glasgow. And Bowling Green.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We have multiple tornado touchdowns anywhere from eastern, the Ozarks all the way to Bowling Green and Glasgow, and hit all the county seats, which is very rare, but it took a bad trajectory. Jamestown, and now it's off to Somerset. Meanwhile, for us, we have a tremendous wind field all along that leading edge. Where's the new? I love the velocity. That's really our show.
Yeah.
Let's show the velocity.
Let's do it.
The winds. There they go. Where's
There's that
Find
peak.
that town. Where is that?
That's still right over
Loretto.
Still right over Loretto.
Loretto. Your wind speeds are about 70 to 80 miles an hour. On US 52, 527, 49. Next victims will be Springfield and Lebanon as that moves east. I hate to tell you, very strong winds are moving. They're going to come from the west to the east. Very strong winds. And once that goes through, you're done.
Yep.
You're done. There it is. See that bulge pushing out? We talked about this last night at 7:30, how we're going to have this line of storms sometime late evening towards midnight, and then by 1 a.m. it's over, and I think that will happen.
Yeah, I agree. So I was just about to show something. Oh, they obviously trimmed, of course, the tornado watch.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, this has transitioned into more of a wind threat, but it's always good to see that visual when things get chipped
Clearing
away.
counties.
Yeah, clearing those counties out as they do.
There's a dedicated person who does nothing but the public products, the aviation forecasts, everything, and you get to them when you can, because it's busy.
Obviously, yeah, very, very busy. So usually there's a lull, and we totally understand that.
Yeah.
So this will continue to be chipped away as that entire system shifts eastward. But as we mentioned, this has transitioned into a wind threat, which is why pretty much all you're seeing on your screen right now is a lot of orange for us. Does look like they went tornado with something around Bowling Green. I wasn't even paying attention to down there because obviously we were showing our counties.
Let's take a look at that. That was that second one we had talked that came out of McCracken.
Around Russellville.
Yeah, let's take a look. We said there was a second one about an hour behind.
Oh, right.
Yeah, remember that? I know that's hard to remember all this. Let's take a quick look what they did. Yeah, I see why they did it. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, right around Russellville.
Right around Russellville. That's the county seat of Logan County, folks. If you know anyone in Logan County, WRUS, I always listen to down there. Anyway, right in there, north side of Russellville, there's definitely some rotation. The Nashville radar will be your best friend on that. Let's go to Fort Campbell first. Fort Campbell, real quick. Let's see. Lot of lightning. That thing really escalated in the lightning compared to everything else. Yeah, there's the rotation. Right north side of Russellville, north of the Fort Campbell radar. And we'll go to Nashville real quick. And lot of lightning. What do we got there, Mallory? Come on, baby. There's your rotation. And I'm waiting for the Nashville one to load. There we go. Yeah, that's legit. Definitely a little couplet right on the leading edge. These are really difficult. There it is. Boy, that showed up good on the last scan. Look at that. There it is. That's something you would get a tornado on.
Yeah.
I would say that's about 2 miles northwest of Russellville. That one right there.
Yep.
There it
That
is.
little node.
There it is. That may be on the ground right now. It's usually like an EF0, EF1 tornado. I worked one back in January down in that exact county. That's a really classic squall line Ohio Valley tornado we get in Kentucky all the time, right there.
So that's that warning that we're watching south of our viewing area, southwest of Bowling Green.
Yep. And look at this. So you see the channel right here on the wind, and it comes back around.
And
that's legit.
up.
That's a very good tornado warning. Very proactive. North of Russellville, mainly out in the country, and that's a problem. For us to the north.
severe thunderstorm warnings. Still dealing with that wind here. So if I query these, you can see how long they're lasting for. We have one until 11:30. That's the southernmost chunk. These are basically in chunks now. And then the one off to the north should be able to expire here at the start of the hour. And then that will continue eastward into the Lexington metro as this all moves out of here. In fact, if I put on the radar, you can see that that leading edge, the north side is already out of here. It's moving toward Frankfort, Lexington, out of our viewing area. Bardstown, Springfield, Lebanon, that's all moving into your area. Campbellsville, Greensburg, Mumfordville as well. And eventually, once again, the tail end of Columbia or Adair County would be seeing that. Lots of lightning, heavy rainfall, very gusty winds. These are being warned for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but as we know, we've seen gusts even higher than that being reported. Lots of power outages and trees down as well. So a lot of damage to report here on top of that heavy rainfall threat.
Yeah, for the folks down in Logan County, there's definitely a strong indication of a tornado. I would say it's a couple miles north on the north side of Russellville. If you track that out, I believe that will be south of Bowling. Yes, it will be south of Bowling Green. They've already had enough pain tonight. A lot of wind with that as well. That looks like 70, 80 mile an hour winds. Auburn, places in the southern tier of Kentucky. And that thing will oscillate a little bit here and there. Those are really odd how they form on the leading edge. That's a classic Kentucky tornado right now, unfortunately. They're at night. They're in there and they don't last long. They're usually 1 or 2 miles long and then they lift.
Yeah, and they went ahead and confirmed that.
Yeah.
With the purple.
I bet you the CC. Yeah, the CC. I didn't really look at the CC. Let me look at that. If they did haven't. Yeah, they did briefly. Just a quick burp there. Yep. That's legit. And we're coming up to 11 o'clock.
Yep. So what we're going to do during the 11 o'clock hour is we're going to start off with Doug. We're going to kind of take our 11 o'clock newscast, take a look at obviously reports that we have across the area, some damage as well, and we will continue to wrap up with what we're seeing on radar because we still do have some severe thunderstorm warnings in place here. Obviously dealing with some strong winds across the area, frequent lightning, heavy rainfall as well. So we're going to continue to track that over the next half hour or so as it moves out of our particular viewing area. It has turned into a wind threat, as we mentioned, with wind gusts 70 to 80 miles per hour. And on top of that, a heavy rainfall threat, a lightning threat as well. But I believe we're going to kick off our 11 o'clock newscast right now, and I'm going to toss it over to Doug. Doug?
And right now, live here on this very stormy Friday night, this is the WHAS 11 team at 11 o'clock. We have had tornado warnings and reported tornado touchdowns all surrounding Louisville tonight. Far to our north, there's significant damage reported near Bloomington, Indiana, according to our station in Indianapolis, plus damage to our west near Evansville. We also have trees down, a lot of tree damage down in southern Indiana, down to South Louisville. But the developing story at this hour, folks, may be the power outages. Take a look at some of the storms that moved through the south end. We're going to get that for you in just a minute. The winds were really kicking up in the south end, hit so hard at this moment, and this number is going up every time I refresh it. Jefferson County alone is almost at 30,000 outages. That's individual LG&E customers. We're not talking people, not 30,000 people. That's separate LG&E customers. LG&E has always told us and has always told me that anything over 10 is considered major to them. So now we're at 30,000. It's been many, many years since I've seen that many power outages across Jefferson County. A lot of folks going to wake up in the dark in the morning. It's going to take quite a while to get all this back on. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Our night team has been out through the community. We're going to get to their reports in just a moment. But first, meteorologist John Gordon and Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell, you've been watching their coverage all night long. And Mallory, everyone wants to know now at this hour as they're tuning in at 11, are we in the clear just yet?
Good evening, Doug. It certainly has been a long afternoon and evening. We waited for those storms to arrive. We were tracking some of those singular cells far off to our west in Missouri and Arkansas. Those continue to hang together with some of our southern counties. We saw some impressive supercells down near Bowling Green, moved into Adair County as well, and now that's off to the east near Somerset. But basically, if you're on the back side of this, so if you're in Louisville, E-Town, Litchfield, Hardinsburg, Brandenburg, southern Indiana, you are in the clear. If you're along the leading edge of this, which you can see the northern side is heading toward the Lexington metro, and then the southern side is just east of Bardstown heading towards Campbellsville, basically where you're seeing all of that lightning and heavy rainfall, that is where we're still dealing with some severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for some wind gusts up to about 70 miles per hour here. So if I put on just the warnings, you can tell that there are still a few tornado warnings outside of our viewing area down near Russell and also off to the east around Somerset. And at this point, we're just dealing with this lingering chunk, basically, of that severe thunderstorm warning in place for the next half hour. So that will take us through 11:30 Eastern time. But the good news is once we get that through here, you are in the clear for that severe weather threat. We're still dealing with some heavy rainfall, lightning. I know we've had a lot of power outages, trees down as well. And even though we're not really dealing with that tornado threat any longer, though we do have that singular tornado warning down near Russellville and also off to the east around Somerset, it's always nice to see those counties being chipped away from that tornado watch that we were all under. So once again, we're still tracking this line for our far southeastern counties, and then we can enjoy some quieter weather this weekend. Doug, I'll send it back to you.
Mallory, thank you very much. The threat of storms canceled many events in Louisville tonight, but not the prom, believe it or not. JCPS told us they had 3 proms scheduled this evening, and they stuck with them. Butler High School, we'll tell you about that in just a moment. First, let's check in with our Reed Yaden. He is on our storm tracker. Reed, you've been really in the thick of the storms tonight. Where are you right now?
Okay, we're north 65 coming up from Elizabethtown. We'll give you the outdoor camera here. Take a look at the 65 northbound lanes. We're getting light rain, no wind. Everything's kind of settling down at this point where we are. But wow, we had an evening of it, particularly in Breckenridge and Grayson County. We got under a cell that had been producing tornadoes there. I think maybe we came through underneath a little rotation a couple of times, but we easily had some wind gusts of 65 miles an hour, very heavy rain, and we didn't get that much hail, but we had some. But thankfully, the areas we have visited tonight, we've not encountered any damage. A little bit of debris along the Western Kentucky Parkway, some trees down, probably straight line wind damage, but for the most part, everything's in pretty good shape. Doug, I think you're right. The big story for tomorrow is going to be the power outages. Secondary story will be the cleanup from tree limbs and debris and the like that are down. It could have been a lot worse, and I'm glad the proms got in of all things. Needless to say, we'll bring you up to date tomorrow morning. We're on the air at 6 a.m. with Good Morning Kentuckiana, the Saturday edition. We'll all be there, get you up to date, get your weekend started for you. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Reed Yaden live with John Humphas in Storm Chase 11.
Reed, thank you very much. We'll pick back up with that story. 3 proms were scheduled this evening, and The sound of the storm as it moved through the south end tonight. This coming into us within the past hour. The scene in South Louisville, not far from Iroquois Park. Winds really kicking up with torrential driving rain. This video captured by WHAS 11's Ian Hardwitt on the scene. South end, just one of several areas with large and growing power outages at the moment. Now knocking on 30,000 LG&E customers in Louisville alone have lost power. Again, that's LG&E customers. That's not people. So we're talking about that maybe one house with 10 people inside. And right now that number is huge number that we have experienced in this community, one of the largest I've seen. Mallory and John want to let you know of a rescue that's been underway, and a little while ago we learned about it in the Shively neighborhood. This is on Wordle Avenue. That's down off Dixie Highway, down by the Dollar General store, and Youngland Avenue in Shively right now. All we're being told at the moment is that a couple of people are being rescued. Don't have any other details on their potential safety or any injuries, but we do have a crew on the way heading to the scene. So I'll be here for a few more moments and we'll get that on if we get to the scene just in time. But I know you want to update the amount of rain coming down out of the area and if we're out of the clear just yet.
Yeah, we're almost there. Many of us are in the clear at this time. We're still just tracking the far east side of this as it continues to move out of our coverage area at this point. And with it, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, lots of lightning as well. We have this final severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30. So this is for portions of Nelson, Taylor, Warren, Barron counties as well. You can see all of the lightning that we're dealing with at this point and also the gusty winds as well. So that will be likely our final severe thunderstorm warning of the evening. And really on the backside of that, we're seeing much clearer conditions off to the west and northwest as well. So that is some good news there.
They didn't cover the far southeast part of Adair
County.
So they may have to put out one more for
the
far corner of the county. But this is really a wind event now. The hail's over. There is one tornado threat that's out of our viewing area along the southern tier, south of Bowling Green.
Right.
That will pass south of Adair County. This is real. Look at the lightning that Mallory on her mouse is looking. There is prolific lightning all along that leading edge.
Just with this chunk.
There's just 1,000 lightning strikes every 20 minutes or so. And that whole line is moving out of the area by 11:30, except perhaps Adair County.
Yep.
They're not issuing tours anymore. This is for wind. You see these wind channels. Can you go to the velocity really quick?
Yeah, let's take the velocity again.
And you should see some nasty green. There it is.
Oof.
Danville.
That's heading toward Danville.
Boyle County. All over there. East of Springfield's getting a little bit. Washington, we had mentioned that a little bit ago. Frankfurt, the state capital.
Right. So this is all starting, as we mentioned, it's March out of the Kentuckiana viewing area at this point, but that is a lot of wind.
Yeah.
That's the same little bout that we were watching around Loretto.
That is. It is. There's trees down all over the place, power lines. You saw what happened when Reed and John rode through some of those areas. There's a lot of wind energy still in the atmosphere. But as Mallory just said, if you live anywhere basically in southern Indiana, it's over.
Yep, let's show that big picture view.
There is one little renegade. I think that's part of the boundary, but anywhere north of this one cell, it's over.
Yep, so on that backside.
Yep, all over. And
Yep.
the dew points have come way down. They're going to drop. You'll see more pleasant. You'll have a better hair day, everyone, tomorrow. The wind, we were in darn near 70 today on the dew points. Look at St. Louis dew point. When we came on,
Oh, that's wonderful.
they were 68 or 69. They're 43. And look at Kirksville. Look at Springfield along the I-44 corridor. All that dry air is coming in.
That's going to head our way.
You got sunshine in tomorrow, don't you?
Yeah, should be a nice day. A little breezy, but dry.
Can't beat that.
So much better than today. A nice weekend after a rough Friday night. But I'm going to walk us through a few things. I think we're going to take us through the end of the half hour
Okay,
here.
sounds good.
While we still have those warnings in place. Looks like we're starting to get more reports into the National Weather Service as well. Some trees down, power lines down around Mount Washington.
Yep. We mentioned Mount Washington.
Yes, yeah, we were talking about that big velocity there. And these are your 6-hour storm reports. So you're seeing some hail reports, some wind reports. That's the big thing. I'm going to actually look at some of these and see what we've got here. I'm sure most of these were in the chat. 59 miles per hour.
That was on the mesonet, yeah.
Okay, those are the mesonettes.
Yeah, that one was at least.
Yep. Cecilia.
159, I saw that one
Yep.
too.
Let's see if there's anything that wasn't.
I don't know what that one is.
A lot of 59s.
Yeah, a lot of 59s. 82 seems to be the winner at Ali International.
Shoof.
I hope they were having no planes depart or take off at that time.
Yep, that's what you're seeing right there. That was at 10:06.
That will get your attention.
Louisville International Airport, 82-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So if you're wondering why we have some power outages, I'm sure you heard the wind howling earlier with these warnings. So
And it's been wet, and
Yes.
because the trees fall down, and I hope you do not have any damage at your house or you live.
yeah, and you can see the outage map there on our screen. It's a little too far away for me to read any numbers. So if you have any numbers for me to read off, let me know. But obviously, wind gust, 70, 80 miles per hour will do that kind of damage there.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So the line right now, let's kind of look at the big scale. The line right now of storms basically is south of the Lexington area, goes through Danville, Boyle County,
Right.
Bradfordsville, Campbellsville, Taylor County, Greensburg, and Greene County. Then it anchors, and this is where I think there's a flash flood threat south of our viewing area, except maybe Adair. Folks from like Hart southward, some of that stuff is more west to east, and that means it rains over the same area repeatedly. You see that this is the last hurrah for tornado warnings, and it is moving more southeast. You notice that? That's going to go down into Tennessee.
This one that's
Yeah, that's trying to go down to
south of
Franklin
Bowling
County.
Green.
It's going to end up basically near the Tennessee-Kentucky border, south of Albany. So it's moving that way. And then it's just really a wind and heavy rain and lightning event right now.
just got a report from the Taylor County EM, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds in Campbellsville.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's where that leading line right here is going through.
Yep, that velocity
All of
couplet
that
you
lightning,
just showed. Yeah.
all of that heavy rain, gusty winds. So the most ferocious part of this system at this point, the leading edge of that line, and the bright pinks, bright yellows, that's moving toward Danville.
Danville, Centennial Square in Danville, one of my favorite places. I'm telling you, it's Center College. The wind is coming. College students, you do not want to be out in this.
Yeah.
It will not be pretty. Campbellsville, and then it anchors down towards Bowling Green.
Right.
So that's the immediate threat. As far as our viewing area east, then we lose our coverage. Okay, yeah, over there. So Washington, Marion, Taylor County, and we're running out of counties. Adair, you're going to get some of this wind as well.
Yes.
But the real surge is more north of you.
And just got an updated number for the power outages in Jefferson County, 24,000.
Up to 24, Doug.
Bullitt County, 7,800. So producers relaying some of that information for us. And obviously, reason being these strong winds that we've been tracking here.
Yep.
So I do want to talk about, still have that flood watch where we're watching that heavy rainfall threat, where we're seeing a little bit more of that training down in south central Kentucky, southern Kentucky as well. So that will take us through the early morning hours tomorrow. And then I'll just walk you through the futurecast so we can look at something that's enjoyable for tomorrow. So this entire mess pushes off to the east and southeast, and we will have a quieter night and a quieter Saturday, starting off in the 60s. Lots of sun, it looks like, with high temperatures climbing into the 70s tomorrow. So a little bit cooler, a lot lower humidity as well, and a little bit of a breeze. But as I mentioned, I think we can handle that. Temperatures right now, we're seeing some of that rain-cooled air. We're feeling some of that rain-cooled air, I should say, in the 60s. And you can tell, once again, the current dew point map showing where those dew points are dropping off to our west. St. Louis, as we mentioned, a dew point down to 43. That sounds pretty nice.
All right, so in Bullitt County, Mount Washington, you heard here on HAS us hitting how hard the winds were going to be there. I just got this report of multiple power poles snapped near Bullitt East High School. Bullitt East, multiple power poles. That's not good. That supercell that went through, we mentioned earlier, the one that went flying out of Adair, went over to Russell County. We mentioned Russell Springs. They got golf balls. Golf ball hail when that thing. And Somerset had a confirmed tornado based on a storm spotter. Meade County, trees down on several roads near Andyville. 1-inch hail earlier in Russell County when it got up to golf balls. It kept escalating. I'm just going through a few of these. Taylorsville, trees down. Paynesville in Meade County, a bunch of Meade County reports. Those are the ones that just came in here.
All right, numbers are continuing to climb. I have our producer, she's messaging me the power outages. So Jefferson up to 27,000 people without power.
Every 2 minutes we
Bullitt
get
up to 8,000. And for your friends over in Lexington, I don't have power outages, but they just clocked a 63 mile per hour gust at LEX.
And my good buddy Mike just sent me this. He estimated 60 to 65 mile an hour winds when it went through Douglas Hills, where I live. Off on the Middletown area, and he heard some rumors of trees down in Anchorage. So
wouldn't be surprised.
Would not be surprised
by any of that.
There's probably a lot of trees
I
down.
think we're going to get a lot more reports when people wake up tomorrow morning too, and they see all the trees that are down and the cleanup that they have to get through.
And I've been saying this for 40 years. If you have trees down, please check with the Better Business Bureau before you get someone to cut down your trees. Never give anyone money for roofers. Never give any money for trees. I've seen so many dishonest people. Always go with a good, reputable person, please.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do see that time and time again.
Yes, so that's just a little tip for someone looking out for you. All right, let's look at the line. Let's go with the velocity. That's the best thing I think we can do for folks.
Yeah, so if we pull back up max, you can see this is the radar, and then if we turn on velocity, this lets you know where the strongest, I mean, it's that same
there it is.
area. This was around Loretto. So this is now east of our viewing area. Still seeing some of those pinks around Campbellsville, Lebanon, Springfield, but yeah, Danville, Center College.
By
right
Perry
there.
County, Perry National Battlefield, and the Shaker Village. Who doesn't like to go to the Shaker Village?
Yep.
Lots of wind in there, and look how it's surging. And it's surging to the southeast, and those wind channels. See those little, can you draw a little drawing?
So you're talking about these lines,
right? In the back, those lines. Just draw those lines. That's where the winds are pushing from the west, north. They're going this way. There you go. There you go. That's exactly what they're doing. A lot of wind in Boyle County, Shaker Village, Perry National Battlefield, Perryville, all in there. It's just passed through Campbellsville now.
Seeing this whole thing.
Yeah, it's a mess in there. How's Adair looking while we're our people?
All right, let me clear all that off.
Yeah.
Let's go down to Adair County.
Yeah, the radar's so high down there. I would still expect 50
view.
to 60 mile an hour winds. Oh, is that, can you do a loop? Yeah. Notice how it's moving. This is interesting. This is why I'm worried about the flash flood threat. If you look from like Taylor northward, it's all moving east, southeast. But if you go to the further south, there's movement to the northeast and to the southeast. So that means there's more heavy rain threat.
Yeah.
So if you're in...
And we still have to wait for all this to pass.
That's exactly right. If you go from Edmonson County over southern Hart over there to Barron and Adair County, Greene County, that's a flash flood threat tonight.
Yeah.
Right in there. And this is how it's elongated and the southern part of that line. Also, did they still got a tornado? Oh, they did. They went right mover. Look at this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you said.
I thought they would.
Heading toward Tennessee.
Yeah, it's going to Tennessee. It's going to go down to Tennessee. Yeah, the volunteer state. Look at the rotation. Let's just take a quick look. You want me to take a quick look at that? We'll go to Nashville. And when I do this, folks, every time I do this, I have a 10-second delay. There we go. And I see, yeah, it's a mess. It is, so if you have folks, Scottsville, that's the county seat down there, Allen County, Alvaton, all the way to the state line. That looks like a mess. That's a typical squall line with intermittent rotation and a lot of wind. It's crossing 65 too.
John and Mallory,
yes.
As we head to 11:25 here, I want to start trying to wrap it up here, and let's get the bigger picture for folks. I do want to pass on some new information about the rescue we told you about in Shively. That's on Wordle Avenue. It's down on Dixie Highway, down to the Dollar General there. We were told that a rescue has happened to one person at least, possibly more, after a tree fell onto a house there. We have a crew heading the scene, going to cover it. John, I want to pick back up real quickly on what you said about the series of power poles or power lines pushed down. Was that Bullitt County? When you hear something like that, not one, but more than one, several like that knocked down, what runs through your mind about what that could have potentially been there? A tornado or straight line winds?
That looked like straight line winds on the radar. The winds were surging from the northwest to the southeast. You saw these little wind channels that Mallory was just pointing out. And yeah, when you get 70-mile-an-hour winds, I'm sure there's power poles down in Louisville right now.
So, Mallory, we are talking about what could potentially be a record high number for many, many years for Louisville on the power outages. It's knocking right at 30,000. That's Louisville alone. You know, sometimes LG&E is able to flip substations back on real quick, and we'll see these numbers drop down. But what were the peak winds tonight through Jefferson County and Louisville? I'm curious as if they're going to have to be dealing with power poles in the morning.
Right. We had an 82-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Louisville International Airport.
That's massive.
And that was measured, and that's the highest gust we've seen. So once again, we were talking about that was straight line winds. We were dealing with some tornado warnings in some portions of Kentuckiana, but that was due to a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's what we were mentioning earlier this evening, to take just as seriously as you would a tornado warning. Some of these severe thunderstorm warnings with gusts 70, 80 miles per hour.
I'd like to talk about the rain totals too, if you all have any figures, because with our ground so saturated and our large trees in Kentuckiana now full of leaves, making them much heavier, these trees can topple over even when the sun is out. And I worry about people going to be out in their yards this weekend and that. You got to be careful with that. We've seen that. We've seen some fatalities happen over the years along Eastern Parkway on a day or two after one of these major storm events.
Yeah, I mean, we really have to watch that because, as we know, it's been such an active year and season so far. And you're taking a look at all of those oranges and yellows on the map. So this is primarily south of Louisville because that's where we saw the heaviest rainfall this morning, and that's where we're seeing the training. And also, we do have a flood watch in effect too for those areas down to the south, those same areas that will take us into early tonight. So yeah, saturated ground, winds, not a good combination.
Now, when you say training, that means that the storm sort of parked and then what just kept rotating over it, didn't move, or just kept going back and forth, wouldn't leave the area?
Yeah, when we're talking about
repeated rounds.
Yes, repeated rounds actually might be the better way to say that. Going over the same areas, yes.
So, John, what is your thinking about the number of tornado reports we might have in this area, maybe the Kentuckiana area? Because as we saw those storms approaching, you know, Evansville was getting hammered again, and then just north of Louisville, as you all were tracking around North Vernon, north of Seymour, was that a confirmed tornado on the ground there?
No, the one that I don't think so. No, the one by Bloomington's the real deal.
Yeah, Bloomington.
I think you're going to get reports tomorrow. You'll see that one that came flying out of Paducah's area, the one down by Bowling Green. I wouldn't be surprised there's a tornado somewhere in Butler, Warren, Metcalfe, over to Adair County, and they did confirm it in Somerset. I think there will be a southern Kentucky tornado, series of tornadoes.
Yeah, and then we were watching some areas of rotation that were coming out of Owensboro, heading towards Breckinridge County as well. That's what we had Reed and John on. Never got that confirmed per se, but
we saw it on radar near Litchfield.
Yeah.
So, you know, coming into the city today, I noticed the Ohio River is still a muddy brown. It really hasn't cleared out yet as people, you know, heading toward Memorial Day, and that's when people like to start the river season and the lake seasons around here. But we may be in for some more flooding with this amount of rain or not. How do you all view that?
You know, I didn't really look at all the river stuff. We're still okay, but it's definitely high. I will tell you this. I hate to be a bearer. There's some active weather next week, maybe Tuesday. We'll have to look. I haven't looked at anything.
Yeah, we've been taking it one day at a time.
I think the plains are going to get hit. Oklahoma, Kansas, big outbreak probably Monday. We'll see how Tuesday plays out.
So I guess fortunately, if we had to put a headline on tonight's weather system, we're not even into summer yet. This is another late spring storm. Fortunately, we have no reports of any deaths. We are seeing some rescues once again in Kentuckiana for different reasons. We had another torrential amount of rain. So I guess we should put it on power outages first and a lot of tree damage at the moment.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Yeah, because this was, as we were mentioning, biggest factor that we were thinking about, biggest threat. damaging winds.
Yeah, we
and
put that first.
that's exactly what came through. We, of course, had some tornado warnings embedded in there and a few of those singular cells, and then heavy rainfall and flooding.
I agree.
So we did have some reports of hail, but that wasn't really our big threat here locally.
Yeah, not out of our area. Bowling Green, baseball hail, that's pretty bad.
Well, I can tell you, I know what I'm going to see in the morning is that any fast food restaurant that sells coffee is in the morning is going to will have lines wrapped around it, especially with so many power outages across the area.
Yeah, and Reed Yaden as well, because he has to get back in here.
Yeah, Reed's going to have some coffee tomorrow.
That is right. And looking at the latest update, and LG&E has been really good about updating this throughout the evening, although they're not giving any restoration periods. It is looking like Jefferson stands right now at 28,000 outages. And then you have, let's see, Oldham County is coming in here. Let me see here. Here's Hardin County at 1,700. So it's one of the other largest ones outside Jefferson County, but clearly Metro Louisville is outpacing everybody else on that. All right, it's been a long night for Mallory and John. Incredible work. We've been getting a lot of great feedback from our viewers to you both. Thank you very much for keeping Kentuckiana safe.
Our pleasure.
This has been the WHAS 11 team. I'm Doug Proffitt. Thank you very much for watching us tonight. And again, any other weather updates throughout the evening, they'll be here with you.